Ahoy, landlubbers! This me, your Captain Vasco speaking, and welcome aboard for a brand new game. It's Spooktober. Spooktober the 15th, which is the perfect time to just start doing spooky stuff. We had to finish dating weapons, and like there was a whole thing with Eric who sucks. There was like anime legal drama. It's been a whole thing. We've been through a lot, especially last week when we had like a super marathon stream to try and finish everything all at once so we could play some spooky games. And speaking of finishing things, EV Point Master just finished our community challenge. Donated the last 2,000 doubloons. Means that at the end of this Spooktober, we'll get a very special bonus Spooky Sunday. Halloween day itself. We're going to stream on a day I don't normally stream. At this point, I think what's probably going to happen. Well, here's the thing. So at this point, I've more or less mentioned, at least obliquely, what all four of the games I was thinking of playing this month were. One of them is tonight's offering, Strangeland, which I'm very excited about. One of them doesn't come out until, like, ridiculously late in the month, which is, I actually don't remember what it's called, the follow-up to Little Hope, the Dark Pictures anthology. Their next one is supposed to come out this year. The scheduled date is like October 26th or something like that. And so like I would like to play that. It's the type of game that I'm generally pretty excited to play on stream. It's not out yet. But like I don't know how long the game is gonna be. So like we're gonna see how that fits into the schedule, but it might be the sort of thing where like we start playing that, and then if we haven't finished it yet, we spend Halloween playing that, or something along those lines. The game that Demolition has been recommending to me that does look very interesting to me is nice in that it seems like you can sort of, it has like replay value, and so even if we start playing a little bit of that, we could like slot that in. So, I mean, basically, there's options. At this point, it's a little dependent on how streams go the rest of the month. But it's gonna be something spooky. It's gonna be a bonus day. It's gonna be a great time. It's gonna be a different time of day than I usually stream, and we'll figure out exactly what that looks like a little closer to it. But like, I would guess it's gonna be like a few hours early because it's a work night for me. Good grief, being an adult's stupid. I feel like I had a lot of things to talk about, and then that happened. I got derailed, and I don't remember what any of them were. One of them was that today we had like a spontaneous power outage, and it was very stressful. Because it wasn't just a power outage, it was a power internet cell access outage all at once. And I know that power and internet outage seem like separate issues, but here's the thing. I lost all power in my apartment, and then like maybe 10 minutes later, I got a text from my internet service provider saying like, yeah, there's an outage and we think it'll be back by 4. And I mean, if you have an internet service provider in the United States, you know that like that's not promising because like none of them are good. They're all bad. Um, but like even like worse than that, I did just mention that I got a text, but here's the thing. That was some kind of anomaly because I couldn't access anything on my phone, and I tried texting a couple of my coworkers to let them know I lost like internet and power and couldn't continue to work until it was restored. And it took like a while for them to get it, I think, and then I got their texts like almost a full hour later. So like somehow all of those things went offline all at once and had me briefly convinced that like the end of the world had finally come, that like some natural disaster or maybe unnatural disaster had befallen Southern California, and like I would just have no way of knowing about it because that's how modern society works, is that you need at least one of those three things to work in order to make sure that when the other two are gone, it doesn't mean that like, you know, we're living through the movie Armageddon or the movie Deep Impact or some other thing. So that. Let's talk about some kind of disaster more so than traffic. I mean, like, traffic is an unnatural disaster that exists at all times. I'm sure my sister will be excited about that element of moving here. It's not at all why she's paying a premium to live very close to her new workplace. Oh, you bought Eternal Sonata today, Ditto? Nice. I really want them to remaster it Because, like, even if they had just released it on PS4, then I could play it on PS5. But, like, the PS3 was a really janky console. And so, like, in order for me to, like, play it or stream it or something, then, like, I have to, like, use, like, weird third-party technology to just, like, get the signal to work at all. It's just really annoying. I hope that your friend really enjoys Chopin's Relentless Advance. As we all know, there's no way to stop it, which is either unfortunate or fortunate, depending on your opinion. But tonight's game is not anime or cheerful or Chopin related in any way, as far as I know. Oh my god, if Chopin shows up in this game, it's gonna be like an automatic 10 out of 10. Chopin has like become my favorite like historical figure, not because I care about his music or anything. It's Chopin's just never not funny to me now. But tonight's game is exciting in multiple ways. First, as I was saying to some of the people who are here live at the start of the stream, before I started recording, every screenshot or image or 10 like I literally could tell you like a few months ago, found this trailer. He's like, oh, the people who made Unavowed made a new game because it's the same developer, VascoDaGamer, and he sent me a link to the trailer, and I like literally watched like 10 seconds and saw like 3 different pieces of still art, and I was like, I'm literally not gonna watch any more of this. I'm just gonna buy it. That's the whole thing. Like that's all I need. I was like, yeah, that looks great. It reminds me of like the types of scary games that like fascinated me as a kid, but I just like absolutely couldn't handle playing. And it's so weird because like when I was a kid, I was scared of like everything, literally everything. And as an adult, I mostly just don't like anything, which is different. But like very few things scare me now. Like very few things like legitimately scare me. So when I see like artwork that's like those things, it's like, ooh, it's so exciting. So, you know, there's that. There's the fact that it's by VascoDaGamer, and there's the fact that it seems to be set in a really horrible theme park, which is, you know, I love theme park stuff. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of trailers. I think we talked about this. It might have been in my sister's stream. I don't know. By the way, catch my sister streaming most weeks that aren't this week because she is in town this week and thus not streaming up in Seattle. She's a funny godmother here on Twitch. Go follow her now while I finish telling the story. Yeah, I've set up like 2 commands download. If you know how to add commands to MooBot, you are welcome to add that. Alright, so I'm going to load up Strangeland right now. And I'm going to draw your attention to this specifically, because as I was also stating to people who were here at the start of the stream and before the recording, one of, if not the single most famous thing about Unavowed, to those who were watching me stream it at least, is the fact that when you load up that game, it has this really atmospheric main menu, where there's like rain sounds and like lightning strikes, and for some reason, some weird ungodly creature, some like weird lightning bird or something that like, lives in the background and like flickers in and out of existence, and every few seconds makes this horrible, just extremely loud shriek that was dubbed "Scraw." And it's funny to me because the same developers made this new game, Strangeland, and they found a way to bring that back. It's not exactly the same sound, but it's also not like a creature. It's literally just their logo does it now. So, like, watch this. And by watch this, I mostly mean listen, but I guess I can do this all at once, huh? I feel huge on this screen. This feels like a problem. I might have to adjust this. Oh, that's right. It won't progress if I don't touch the window. It's one of those. I'm, like, staring at it like, why isn't it? There it is. Now, that's not as jarring as I probably sold it as. And the reason for that is because I've already done a tremendous amount of work trying to balance the game audio. Because by default, it's terrible. It's very, very bad. Thank you, Continue, for the 51-month resub. That's so many months. More sounds for chat. Raw indeed. So, you all are going to have to help me so much. what looks like it's on my end? The loud sound? Should have been able to hear it, because desktop audio just like feeds directly into OBS. Commands. Oh, really? Okay. Future problem. So I spent, I don't know, probably at least a half hour literally just trying to adjust the audio. And so like normally I don't like start new games without like being on stream unless, you know, like I have some specific reason, like trying to get the settings right. And here I like loaded up like just the first scene to get like some dialogue, because like if you go into options and like look at this, all of these meters start at full. This is where I have us at now. Music at like definitely less than half. It's extremely loud by default. It's deafening. The sound effects were like, if you clicked a button on the menu, it would like blow out my computer audio. Ridiculous. The voice is actually like pretty close to fine, but I dropped it a little bit just because I'm gonna be talking to. But like, I feel like this is gonna need some adjustments, so just hang in there with me and just let me know, and we'll keep tweaking it until we get there. And then the last thing I wanted to do before we actually start playing this game, and I know we've been here for like 6 hours, I wanted to read you these instructions. I think when I first booted up the game, there was like an instructions tab on the main menu that's gone now, but you can access it in the options for some reason. And I'm going to read this because I was like, why does a game like this require instruction? And there's some weird stuff in here. Basics. Strangeland is a point-and-click adventure primarily controlled by using the mouse. Specific controls are described on the next page. There's a couple hotkeys for quick save, which is a little concerning to me. I don't know why. I did my best. The sound mixing is not perfect, I'm sure. It should be at a level where at least we can communicate with one another. I was like really annoyed with this yesterday. It was like so loud. I'm like, why? Why is it so loud? Okay, it is impossible to reach a game over or a dead end. Alright? This feels important, and we'll get to why later. The path forward may be puzzling, but it always exists. Sometimes even dying may help you advance. Now, if you weren't playing point-and-click adventure games back in the like early 90s, maybe late 80s too, particularly Sierra adventure games, dying was a very common feature, but you would just die and the game would end. That's the type of game where you need a quick save, even though it's an adventure game. Oh, pardon me. But it is fascinating to me that this game posits that it's impossible to reach a game over or dead end, but sometimes dying may help you advance. I don't know what that means. Also, welcome to the stream, Angel. Good to see you. So yeah, while adventure game obstacles can generally be overcome by the brute force of use everything on everything, we advise against playing that way. If you get stuck, you can always get a hint by calling the operator, dialing 0 on the payphone. There's so much implied in that sentence that's just fascinating. You are not required to memorize anything. Key information will always be repeated. Some choices you make along the way affect the game, but there's no right or wrong answer. So I'm guessing that there's different endings, but the way that's phrased, it makes it sound like there's maybe not majorly different endings. More or less, we hope you enjoy the game. And then there's left click, do stuff, right click, like select stuff to examine more closely. Mouse wheel to scroll through items is actually a little unusual. Inventory, save, load, I'll forget all of these, but I think most of these you can do manually. I don't know why this game requires a quick save if you can't hit a game over death, which is weird. Anyway, I think that's all the groundwork I wanted to lay for this game. I've seen maybe 2 minutes of it, so join me. Start a new game. Yeah, it like auto saves after the first cut. God, the sound effects are so loud. It's me! I really do feel like I need to shrink the camera. I'll do that when I get control. I'm not even looking at it. I'm just like suddenly self-conscious about how huge I was a minute ago. Alright, that pauses that for a second. Let me, I'm just gonna mess with this more than I probably should, huh? So before I did, Hmm. Like something like that, right? That's not terrible. I don't know. I might need to move also. Like the worst intro to a game I've ever done. Why am I so bad? Is it just that my brain stopped working this week? You bet. It's probably fine. Is that Colin Farrell? No, it's me! That's what I look like. Haven't you seen me before? Everyone's gonna love this.
I don't want to tell you a joke. I don't want to tell you anything at all. But you know the problem with me? I never could keep my big mouth shut.
Thanks, I hate it. Like, this is as far as I've seen. I've had the character examine a couple things to get, like, his dialogue for audio testing. But, like, isn't this perfect? I really like this. It's very upsetting, Neko. Like, you shouldn't like it. But I love how upsetting it is. It's, like, just right. Like, I look at that and I'm like, yes, I don't want that. Thank you.
Looks like they really want me to go in.
I feel like I should recognize this voice. He might have been in Unavowed, I don't know.
Looks like they really want me to go in.
Kinda seems like they really want me to go in.
It's an ad for Nepenthe. It reads, Quaff, oh quaff, this fine Nepenthe. Win a bottle today at the shooting gallery.
I literally don't understand that sentence. It might make sense with context.
Hello?
Leave me alone. I already told you a joke.
So chat, I promised spooks, did I not? I literally, when I tweeted that I went live with this game, I was like, gather your courage, it's gonna get weird. Alright, this is as far as I've seen. I have no idea what happens next. Huh?
Wait!
Goodbye, my love.
Oh, I think we passed the Renegade Constabulary test. Is she? Yep. She threw herself from a height into the earth.
Jason! She's gone.
Not gone, Querent. Nearly dead. Again and again she comes to this well, to weep and leap at the sound of the shriek. Which of you will save the other?
Cool, I got an achievement. How's... Hey, vibe check chat, how we doing? It says, it's not even scary, it's just upsetting. I mean, isn't it both? I mean, seriously, like, I looked at the art for this game, and, like, genuinely, I think I was saying this before, like, my reaction was like, I like how much I don't like that. It is upsetting.
Hello?
Do I come to you to wish to be big?
Hello?
Oh, is he
I
off
guess
now?
I need to put in a quarter.
Well, yeah, I mean, we're only a few minutes in. It says, isn't this how everyone's life is? It's very realistic. I mean, we've already passed the Renegade Constabulary test, and we're only a few minutes in.
Listen, the thing you have to understand is, this is all your fault. You miss all the obvious signs. You let everything slip through your fingers. And you're no good at fixing things. That's why she's dead. That's why you're here. Right. Anyway, I'll call again later. But if you need help, and you will need help, please hang up and press 0 to dial your operator.
Wait!
Rogue says, P.S. you smell. And
He sounded just like me.
what's funny to me about that is, like, that's a thing that I used to say as a joke when people were, like, angrily listing a bunch of things. Is like, and you smell. And then one of my friends tried to introduce me to, like, I forget the name of it now. Some, like, really awful, like, low-budget movie that they sort of love to watch, ironically.
Try following her.
Oh my god, there's so much in this world. bring this up to pause it from doing more stuff. And we were watching that movie, and like someone was like angrily listing stuff, and I was like, haha, and you smell. And then like literally the character's like, you smell. And I was like, whoa. I don't think I've literally ever seen that happen before. No, not The Room. I would remember The Room. It's like something like kind of obscure. It's like well known to people who are in like my social circle around here, but like I think a couple of them like worked with the people who made it or something. Ditto says you're also bad at arts and crafts and the guitar, which is inexplicably one of my favorite Family Guy references. But yes, right, Angel must have this game. I think I'm supposed to talk to this bird.
Hello?
Sticks and stones will make me groan, but words will never move me. Sticks and...
Yeah, I've heard it before. A large crow.
Raven.
I'm gonna examine stuff.
Murmur the Magnificent.
By the way, how's volume? Let me know if like anything in particular seems too loud. I did my best to balance it, but I'm not optimistic. Okay, volume seems fine so far. So there's an exit. There's an exit. Can I go back the way I came? It feels like no. I think I have 3 exits. Well, just keep an ear on it, okay? Good,
I need to put something on it first.
Wait, my inventory consists of anything? It seems no.
Just steam. It's venting steam.
That's one of my favorite dual
A
lamps.
huge furnace with 83 painted on it.
That
We're
is
gonna
my
have to-
name, 83.
Oh.
A
Hi.
huge furnace.
Yeah, I think dialogue choices are down here, which is why I wanted to live up in the corner. But if we feel like I need to move, just, you know, shout.
What
Give a shout.
are you?
That's
I am
how
the
I start all my
fire that
conversations.
burns the impure.
And that's how I end them. Wow, this game really gets me.
What's that anvil for?
Like the bear that licks its cub into shape with a tongue of fire, I forge from ore upon the anvil whatever thing I wish.
Hey, 83? I don't think you know how bears work. I think that's not how bears work.
Can you make something for me?
I can make anything. Bring me a work order and lay your metal upon the anvil.
I love this game. I love this game very much. I know like nothing about this game, and I know that because I hate everything, in 3 hours I'm gonna be mad at something. But I really like this game.
I really need you to make me something.
You can bring me an order, or you can burn.
Ooh, how do I choose that
There
option?
was a golden-haired woman who threw herself down a well.
The bellows gasped on the day she was made.
Wait, wait, how is that your answer to that? There was a woman with beautiful blonde hair, and I saw her throw herself to her death, and he's like, the bellows gasped the day she was made. I just like it so much.
Who was she?
A flawed thing that fire could not save.
Goodbye.
You have said so before.
I also love how absolutely, like, extra the protagonist is. Goodbye!
Whoever built this place certainly doesn't trust me to find my own way.
Game designers, am I right? Well, I mean, I feel like something resembling Time Loop. The fortune teller machine was like, I wonder which of you will save the other, and she like literally already killed herself. The game says like death advances the story or something, so it's like, yeah, I feel like we die. Oh, there's a wolf I didn't even see. I don't think the wolf likes me. Hey, S is the hotkey for saving. How to doing that? How to save? Save. Name. No, you know what? We'll keep it vague. Oh, I can't use question mark. And question mark? Got around it. Genius.
What the?
I love this art so much. Is that me being eaten by a wolf?
That's it! That shadow! That's what's making that sound. That's what's killing her. I have to destroy it.
I don't think that's the white shadow. I think that's something else. He's so extra. I love this guy. He's the type of melodrama that I like about competition anime, in particular Yu-Gi-Oh! That stuff just gets me real excited. Yeah, the wolf does have something in its mouth. I feel like I need something to either, like, befriend it or, like, trick it into dropping what it's... Like, if I gave it food, maybe it would drop what it's holding or something. I feel like just approaching it now, it's either gonna, like, eat me or do nothing. You could, like, walk around. It seems as though one might walk around the wolf. Like, if I... Okay, that's... Alright, that's fine.
It's not operational.
Looks like a game that I might end
What
up
an idiot grin.
having to do some pixel hunt in, so I'll try to keep that in mind. Alright, I can't read that from here. Looks like a... To me, it kind of looks like it's like a big... Like a railroad spike, or maybe a knife or something in the wolf's mouth. Crap it, you don't need two hands. Exactly wrong, Cotillion. Let's go right. We'll save up for last. This side has a cat with something in its tail. Oh, a flyer!
I already have her picture in my mind.
The sound effect is very loud.
It's her!
Okay. I haven't quite grasped the difference between left and right click. I think left is him thinking I want to pick it up.
I already have her picture in my mind.
At least in this instance. And right is examine, but sometimes left seems to be examined too.
It's her!
It's her! So dramatic. Like a mostly empty screen.
Welcome to the mysteries of the deep.
Sounds fun.
The luminous stream made, the vitriolic sea star, and the oleaginous black swan.
I want to go to here. I bet nothing upsetting will happen inside this location. Although I do feel like touching the gate will kill me. I appear to have been right, I think. I think I was right. Ooh, the animation's nice. I like that.
What happened?
Well, I touched, like, raw electricity. Hey, there's rocks here. I have so many rocks. Or maybe just one. It's slightly unclear. Anyway, I think I like the scroll inventory thing. I don't know how many items I have. That might be a problem.
Not this again.
Oh, his tongue's
Here's
already out. I
one
wanted to
for
check to
ya.
see how upsetting it was.
Man sitting in his doctor's office. Doc says, and now here's the good news. Man says, Doc, you didn't even tell me the bad news. Doc says, not this again.
Alright. Welcome to Zurich, my good friend, to the stream. We're playing Strangeland. It's pretty much what it says on the tin. It's the worst amusement park ever. Everyone hates it, and I'm the only one having a good time. And yes, thank you to Wish for gifting a sub to Tech Zurich. Much appreciated. I have a new confetti cannon thing. My friends, who have all gathered here for this particular event for no reason. I don't think any of them have seen it. Yeah, I wasn't paying super close attention to that. But, if previously, Tech, we already passed the Renegade Constabulary test. A woman threw herself to her death. Oh, the shadow is killing me. Do I need to respond to that, or... Okay, just keep going. Yeah, I'm just gonna go in the mouth. When we started the game, he, like, rolled out the tongue, and it was very upsetting. Oh, she didn't kill herself this time. I'm disappointed not because I want her to die, but because I wanted Tech to see that she was totally lianing it. Alright, let's go up, I guess. Okay. I think I can go left or right.
It's too
Hint.
far off.
No, just jump. You said hero action.
I guess some attractions are always out of reach.
Is that supposed to be profound? Rogue has redeemed the Vasco Ventures for the remainder of the stream.
Who's
Rogue
there?
is the game
Did
master
you
for...
scare off those nice doves? Come closer. Let me hear you.
I love how much everything in this game is terrible. For the remainder of the stream, Rogue gets to be the GM for as many challenges as he wishes. Seizures bird. You come upon a room with too many chairs. What do you do?
Anniversary.
I'm gonna think for a second and shut up the bird. What do I do in a room with too many chairs? I think I close my eyes and feel the vibrations of the room to find the chair that is assigned to me. And I'm gonna roll and see what happens. Whoop. Oh, I got a 5. So, the way this works, Rogue, since you haven't been around for any of the streams where this has been active, basically I assume like 1 to 2 is bad result, 3 to 4 is sort of like okay, but maybe it doesn't work out the way I want. 5, 6 is generally sort of like, I do good. But as Game Master, your mileage may vary. I like that the screen goes gray when I click into OBS to let you know I've done that. It's actually kind of a nice feature. Like, this game's super upsetting. I like this horrible bird.
Sticks and stones will...
Yeah.
Isn't that a different voice from before?
A raven. It's an empty bird bath.
You're an
It
empty
had
bird.
water once, but the deeper he drinks, the dimmer grows the mind of many a man.
Hospital.
What is with this bird? Oh, hey guys, I found the noose. Can I add it to my inventory?
A noose. I wonder how it got there.
You were the one who tied it there. Tried hanging yourself.
Why is
Did
the
it
rope
make
still
you
here?
any wiser?
I'm not sure. I don't remember.
That's why I write things down, you know. So as not to remember.
Don't you mean to forget?
Yes, I do mean to forget.
Oh man, it's so good. Rogue
Why?
says, my roll resulted in me successfully recognizing 3 chairs that are actually mimics. So,
Just says.
we've been testing out different ways to make this work. So, you know, if you want, you can continue the adventure from there,
Yeah.
or you could just throw a bunch of random challenges at me when you think of them, or whatever is your fancy. You're in charge.
His eyes, they're gone.
But my ears are just fine, stranger.
He's going to be all right. Oh, there's so many dialogue options for this man. Oh, wow. I'm gonna ask him about the shriek first.
I
Scrawl.
keep hearing a terrible shriek. What is it?
The dark thing.
Oh, it's the dark thing. How do challenges work? Just like whatever you want, Rogue. I mean, like, the idea was originally that, like, people could sort of, like, play super discount D&D, and I would use my fancy dice overlay to just respond to their, like, you come upon a room, such and such happens. And, like, originally I thought people just throw out short things or whatever, but we tried a sort of longer form thing where someone, like, made, like, a little story, and we we did a whole Hallmark Christmas movie. And the chat seemed to be interested in that, so we're testing this out now. But, you know, do whatever you want. They're your channel points.
Who are you?
I'm afraid I don't rightly know. I'm just an old fool who can hardly remember what he's read, much less who he is. I do recall a book that said, each is his own judge. That might just have to do.
I like how I understand everything that's being said, and it also makes no sense to me.
Can't you just tell me who you are?
Seldom do those who are silent make mistakes, so I think I'd best hold my tongue.
I don't know. This guy sounds like he doesn't play Telltale games. I'm when Echo's Yorkshire puddings rose into huge towers. Do they require tower defense?
Can you at least tell me your name?
Well, I remember the name Fimble Famby, but whether it's mine or yours, or both of ours, I can't quite say.
Man, I've been looking forward to this game for a long time, and I'm more excited about it now than I have been waiting for it. That doesn't happen very often.
What are you writing?
The same things I've written 1,000 times before. After
Is it
all,
a Simpsons
an
blackboard
act can
joke?
lose meaning if you do it often enough.
Where are we?
I wish I could tell you. The man who stands at a strange threshold should be cautious before he crosses it. I read that once, I think.
Hey, do you know this blonde woman? Apparently the Billows gasped when she was created or something.
There was a golden-haired woman who threw herself down a well.
No sickness is
It
worse
sounds like he's trying to
one
tell a
who
bad
is
limerick.
wise than to lack the longed-for love.
Rook says that I've been fortunate in that the mimic chairs that I detected early haven't yet seen me, but I must roll a stealth check to proceed. What do we get? It's 1. It's always 1. Pretty much anytime like bodily harm could befall Vasco in one of these adventures, I roll a 1. I'm very good at this. It seems on brand. Nick says he also made Yorkshire pudding with friends once, which is a fact I didn't know about Ted. Thought it was going to be goo right up until it was ready, and then it was a dinner roll. I would not have been able to identify them. It's not a stealth check unless someone fails. That is profound, dude. I don't like where this is going. Let me ask more about this
But
woman.
who was she?
Who are we to rob each other of our forgetfulness? After all, it's written somewhere that the learned man whose lore is deep is seldom happy at heart.
I think one of my favorite things about this game so far, and it's really hard to narrow it down, is I like that one of the only things we've truly established is that woman is important. And I can go around to every character I can talk to and ask them about the woman, and their initial response will be some nonsense. And then I will follow up by saying, no, but like really though, like I actually want to know. Which feels like how I would actually be in this situation. Rogue says, the good news is the chairs still haven't noticed me. Bad news is I caught the attention of the room. The room is also a mimic. Oh no, it's like... Wait, which one of the Ultima games has like enemies toward the end of the game that are called like floor? And it's like literally just like they didn't want to like render enemies. And so like it just sort of like shows like a tiled dungeon floor and it just kind of damages you. Dove. Where are doves? Has anyone else seen a dove? I've only seen this peculiar raven.
Did you mention doves?
Yes, I feed them as they flutter by. I find it soothes my mind. Are they here?
I mean, there's a crow. I mean, it's a raven. I think it's going to correct me.
Do you mean that crow?
Raven.
No, I mean the doves. It was the raven who told me of them. Are they here?
Do I provoke the raven? Is there any literary precedent for antagonizing a raven? Is that a thing? I would actually, yeah, I think the correct knowledge rogue is knowledge interior design. You may correct me if I'm wrong, but I think I would very much like to roll a knowledge interior design if that would somehow inform me to the situation I find myself in. It's set up so I can't ever see my die. It's a 1 again. Just it's a 1 again. Position this. I really can't, huh? Awkward doing this on the computer arrangement. This is fine. I think that bird lie?
I think the raven lied.
Well, what difference does it make to a blind man?
The fact that I can still interact with that means there's probably some dove-related puzzle.
What is the dark thing?
A shadow locked away up there, festering. Some boils are better left unlanced.
No, but really,
How
though.
can I reach the dark thing?
A word leads to a word, a deed to a deed. For
so I have to
silver
own
he
property,
speaks. Is wisdom worth gold? I read that once, or maybe I wrote it. I suppose it doesn't much matter, one way or the other.
I would like a work order, which is a very normal thing to ask this man for, I think.
Can you write me a work order?
No, I only write what I've written before. The words stuck in my mind, and the lost words the raven finds.
Oh, is that what's happening here? Is the raven is just thinking of words and he's writing them down? Bring me the
What
eyes.
happened to your eyes?
I fed them to a raven. He said it would bring me wisdom.
How'd that work out for you?
Did it work? Are you wiser?
Oh, yes, indeed.
Oh, okay.
I learned that to be blind is better than to burn on a pyre, and that it is easier to be rid of your eyes than the vision that offended you.
Guess you could say that.
Can you tell me anything about Murmur the Magnificent?
Wise and weighty be the word of his mouth, and his head was too good to bury. Whatever
They say that about me when I die.
I'd say I can't make heads or tails of it, but then I'm not much one for puns.
You went out of your way to say it. Now, Rogue has determined that I have been defeated by the room. That seems accurate. How do I fill the bird?
Why's that bird bath empty?
Once it was filled with fresh well water, as cool and clear as a sound mind, but doves and ravens would much rather bathe in dust. Maybe they can't abide their reflections either.
Also, does anyone love this music? It feels like somehow both completely appropriate and inappropriate for everything that's happening.
Goodbye.
Joy to him who has understood, delight to those who have listened.
Cool.
Specialist.
Write that down in your
There's
copy.
nothing on them but nonsense. They're just nonsense.
You're nonsense.
I've got no use.
That seems fine.
Neoplasm.
It's not much of a tree for climbing. It's a U.
Ahem. It is the you.
It seems to be ignoring.
Yeah, I don't think that bird likes.
Toxic.
I like this bird a lot. I like this bird that just says strange words to a man who writes them down.
Loathsome.
An empty bird bath.
I think I have to go. My planet needs me. Ever just get corrupted by the black pixels? It feels like if you don't accomplish enough in one life, you probably die that way.
The hole's just big enough to reach through.
Oh, there's a rat corpse. Can I have it? Oh, look, there's an eye, though.
It's an eye in something horrible.
Uh-huh. Can I have it?
It's a good 30 feet out of reach. I'll need to get into the tent first.
Hey, how about this rat corpse?
A dead rat.
Uh-huh. Can I have it?
Got it. Sure
I
is
got it.
heavier than it looked.
Hey, guys, I got that rat corpse you were looking for.
Step right up, step right up. Win yourself a bottle of Nepenthe, the brew that puts a bullet in all your bad thoughts.
This seems cool and normal. Oh, good, there's a gun and a control box, and what else? It's super weird. Hey, what do you think this is? I haven't figured this out. It's like a spooky line.
There's no latch, and the edges are too tight for me to pull it off with just my fingers.
Okay, but have you considered using a rat corpse on it?
That's not going to work.
Alright, just a thought. I mean, do I talk to the... Okay.
I imagine I need to...
Okay, so gun first, then game? Gun game?
Get you one hit, and one hit's all it takes to bring blessed sleep.
Weird. I honestly can't tell if I'm doing good at all. I got one. Okay, I think I understand how this works now.
Ah, so close. Try
I guess I need to be faster, or they need to be slower, or something.
Am I supposed to cheat or just get good? Try this again. Hate this. Yeah, I think I do actually need to cheat.
Ah, so close.
I think it's like remotely feasible that if I did it perfectly, I could get that done in one shot, but that's really hard. I'll come back here, maybe. Oh, hey, you know who might want a rat carcass? Maybe Dog does. Oh, wait, I haven't talked to you. Are you alive now?
I need to put in
Hi,
a
Professor! Oh, you need to put in a quarter to talk to him. He was serious about that, huh? Okay. I need a work order for this to be useful. Oh, don't mind that. That's just the Black Shadow. Hey, Wolf. How are you just feeling about Rat?
I guess dead rat's not its thing.
Okay. Well, the only other item I have is rock. Now, I know I'm not going to make any friends with Chat, but I feel like I should exhaust this option to know if this will work. I think I'm going to die. The fact that it's letting me do this suggests that I'm going to die. Hey, weird. Hey, everyone, it seems like I died. I like this game very much. I have no idea what to do.
Talk about the dog that bit you.
Okay, here's a question, though. Inventory remains intact. That's good.
Crow's flying along. Sees a crab eating some lady.
Sure.
Crow squawks. What are you doing? She's not even dead yet.
Right.
Crab scuttles off. Next day, Crow's flying along, sees the crab's at it again. I thought I told you to scram, he says. Crab says, take another look. Crow looks at the lady and just says, carry on. Get it?
Oh, Joe.
Hello?
Leave me alone. I already told you a joke.
I like that voice. The character's really annoying, but in a charming way. I mean, let's try giving rat to bird, I guess? Oh no, this is not the correct direction, that's all. Roll a cougar check. No good ever comes from a cougar check. Out of 5. It's unclear under the circumstances, Rogue, if this cougar check is to determine how many cougars, or if I find them.
Condolences.
It seems to be ignoring me.
Wait, what if I put it in the bird?
That's not going to work.
Okay, that's not...
Let me line this shot up.
Wasn't expecting him to do this, but I feel like at this point maybe I should. Oh, that's weird. It literally wants me to... Huh.
My wing.
Huh? Wing?
Oh, eye's a good shout. There is a giant purple one on the screen, huh? But...
Goodbye.
Love.
I feel like, is the trick that I'm trying to get him to say some sort of thing? It says the only time a cougar check is good is when walking into a tavern. Nice. It does have it's purple eyes black raven, but I can't actually target eye. I can try head.
My beak.
Beak?
I feel like I don't actually understand this puzzle. I feel like I need... Wait. I feel like I need the bird to say something that this man will write down that I can then take as a work order. What would that be?
This could be useful.
Recurrence.
I can't use this as a work order.
What now exists in my... Okay, I have a paper that says beak on it. Don't worry about that, I'm just being corrupted by a dark shadow.
Mitts.
You keep this up, a horde of angry Spiro will chase you. What happened?
Poe.
So legs, it would probably say like talon or foot or leg, right? Here's what we're gonna do. I don't feel like I currently understand this. I'm gonna take my paper over to the anvil. Oh, hey, look who it is! It's Leanne! What determines when she comes here?
Please don't!
Can I go in the well?
There's something moving down there, and a hint of golden light.
I should probably try this, but for now I'm gonna try... Hello, I have beak.
First, lay a worthy ore upon the anvil.
Huh. Regular
I don't
rock.
need the target.
Okay. Throw rock down well seems like a good idea. Throw anvil down well. That sounds ambitious, Neko. Can I cast light on the rock before doing this?
Pretty long way down.
Hey, that's an old raven trick. Trying to float her body up to where you can get it, huh? Won't work. Believe me, I've tried it. There's no water down there. Just roots and darkness.
I mean, scrawl. Can I harass this bird?
All right, I'll talk.
It's remarkable how effective Infinite Pile of Rocks is. It seems to work on everything.
So, who or what are you?
I just am. Because I think.
Get it? Philosophy.
Really? What are you?
A raven, lunatic.
Yeah, I like this bird. I don't know, I like both of the birds, honestly. I like the bird that just states random words, but I like the sassy bird as well.
Where are we?
Baked in a pie, I'd guess.
Do you just sit there, watching every time that woman kills herself?
Aw, don't get so bent out of shape. That little slip and fall didn't do her any harm.
But she killed herself.
Don't take it so literally, boss. Believe me, if she were dead, I'd be eating her eyes. As you might have
I'm always
noticed,
saying
death is
that.
different here. Puts a poor raven out of work, I'll tell you that.
Are you sure you're not a crow?
Look, I may be unkind, but I'm not murderous. And I croak rather than caw. Plus, I fly in a pair, not in a flock. Raven. Definitely raven.
Your 999 riddle with no point to it.
What can you tell me about the dark thing?
I'm a raven, not a rat. Go ask somebody else.
Explain death to me, bird.
What did you mean? Death is different here.
It means I'll not carry in comfort down there, feast on thee.
Goodbye.
Did you like rat?
Nah, I smell a rat.
I don't have a quarter to talk to this guy. Maybe I should just try the shooting gallery until I get good. Seems like this is gonna be real tedious. I'll give it a few shots. Annoyed I didn't get credit for that. Ah, 3 tries. 3rd time's the charm. Oh yeah, I know what the prize is. It's like weird alcohol or something. Oh, I just immediately drank it like a Skyrim character? I hate when that happens. Oh no, I just had a vision of her? Something?
No need to bother with that.
So, is the control box here for me to rig the game, and I just got lucky that it kept picking the right target? Did I just, like, actually get really lucky? I feel like that was supposed to be a puzzle. But I got my... Oh, the phone... Guys, I'm getting a call. I'm sorry. Please hold on a moment. I'm gonna take this real quick.
Now you're wondering, am I losing my mind? No, you're finding it. You've hidden a hard grain of truth beneath smooth layers of lies. A masquerade of metaphors. Here's a metaphor for you. Your mind is a matryoshka. It's just you, and you, and you, and you, and you. And we're here to open you up.
Well, what about my car's extended warranty? Yeah, the subtitling changing as he said that was good. So I have weird alcohol and a dead rat. Clear to me what to do with any of them. Do we think that the wolf needs a drink? Well, let me take another look at this, now that I, like, have rocks. Maybe I can, like, throw rock at switch to disable it?
Didn't work.
Let me try again.
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 Didn't work.
I really thought I had it that time. So I really would like to go in here. It's like the most interesting place of any of them that I've seen. How to deal with... You know what? Let's save it. Save it a minute. Save system is weird. Wait. So I can't actually examine anything in my inventory, at least not as I understand it. What if I... if I do it this way?
Nepenthe, a drug to quiet all pain and strife, and bring forgetfulness of every ill.
I don't have any idea how I can apply that to anything I've seen so far. It seems like the opposite of what the old guy wants, and I can't think of anything else that's useful for. Where is this and can I have it? You just have to rig a shooting gallery in wherever this is.
A very heavy dead rat. There's a line of stitches down its chest.
Oh. It's probably not the rat itself, huh? I'm probably supposed to...
I don't want to waste it.
Probably supposed to either put something inside of the rat, or it has something in it that I'm supposed to take out.
The word beak is written on it.
This is the sort of crap that literally only happens in adventure games. Like, I just have a piece of paper with the word beak written on it. I'm like, this is important.
A good handful of rocks.
You know what? That gives me an idea.
Didn't work.
For sure that was gonna do it. Oh, hang on. Talon to cut open the rat. That could work, but maybe I just need whatever the wolf has. It seems sharp. Oh, she can die multiple times in the same life, huh? That's weird. That's unexpected.
Stop!
And one of these days, I'm gonna just jump down after her. It seems like I probably need to do that at some point. Before I could even make a hypothetical bird part, I need suitable ore or whatever. No, I did get him to drop the spike last time I was here. Can I have it? He has no problem with me taking that, huh? Okay. So I think using rat on wolf was actually the correct thing to do. And now, I think we need to manually access inventory to combine spike with
It's too
rat?
dull to pull out the stitches.
But I have the right idea, huh? Maybe the spike is made of the right
A
ore.
scrap of metal chewed into a dull spike. Nice doggy. Any closer and it'll attack me.
I gotta do something about this wolf. I mean, I can try giving it Nepenthe. I don't think this will work.
Never met a dog that would take its medicine straight.
I could use metal on him. The question is, what's the right thing to make? I guess I could have him reforge it, right? That's probably how this works. That's just not the correct thing. Beak, idiot!
Now, step away.
Well, he ate my paper.
Behold the beak, fit for one who would carve and cut.
Well, it just looks like a straight-up knife, so I feel like this might actually be the correct one. Yeah, that is just like, he just literally made a knife. Just tumbled backwards into that. It was stuffed with quarters. What a perfectly normal thing. Okay.
Please help!
That all seems fine. No issues with any of that.
Ugh.
Is that his reaction? Just like, gross. Alright, I get infinite chances to talk to this guy now. Show me potato salad.
I am Murmur the Magnificent, great giver of counsel. What was, what is, and what will be are all mine to draw from the deck of your life. For what you've paid,
Be sure to shuffle.
we may speak of cards, and hear what suits the fates. What would you know?
There's even cards in this game? Without a past, we have no present.
My past.
I will tell you the figures. You will tell me the cards. And they will show us their truth. Let us begin. I see you, Quarren. What card do you make of the man you were?
I don't really know where I expect this to go, but I feel like it's pretty typical for one's past self to be the fool, frankly.
The fool.
Ah, the excuse. An empty-headed vagabond, wandering among wonders. A fitting choice. And what is the card for where he was?
Well, if my past was bad, it's probably the sun.
The sun.
Innocence and exuberance, and the bloody banner of renewal, all beneath the brightness of a woman's watchful eyes. A sound selection. And tell me, what card will we lay for her?
I think we should talk about laying her cards. I want to see this game become a rom-com somehow. I'm gonna pick the lover's card. I know it's obvious, but I just really want to see how that would play out. I have no idea if this has any bearing. This is either a really important choice or, like, not at all important. It's really hard.
The lovers.
Yet it marks not love, Quarren, but
Class.
sacrifice. and a change the heart must embrace. And so we have your cards. The Fool, the Sun, the Lovers. What shall we make of them? A man who stands blithe and blind upon the very cusp of change, failing to heed a woman's flesh and blood, while making an idol of her. That, Querent, is what was.
Idle offer.
What was that, bird?
Did you say something about an idle offer?
No, that animatronic card sharp did. Or did he say idle afar? The trouble with prophecies is the words have always got a double meaning.
Goodbye.
I guess we're going to fuse those cards now. I would need the spell card polymerization. Or like fusion gate or something. What happens if I give him another coin now? Can I do the whole thing over again?
What would you?
The fact that I can choose the past again makes me think that that's not some unchangeable thing. Tell me about the future, I guess.
My future.
We will now speak of cards again. Once more,
It sounds like me having a conversation with any of my friends.
What card will serve for the you?
We will now speak of cards again. Vasco, I swear to God, I don't want to hear about Mirrorweave anymore. Oh. So it did lock down some stuff, huh?
The Hanged Man.
Ever wanting wisdom, never knowing where to find it, stuck in time as a sacrifice to himself. The card
what that
suits
means.
you. Which one suits that ride, that Valkyrie? Which promises to bear you up to where the great battle awaits?
I'm gonna say Judgment, because I don't know what that means, but it sounds more interesting than literally picking Chariot, which will probably mean not literally Chariot. It means that you suck and you're stupid and you smell bad.
Judgment.
The Winged One, sounding the trump of doom, and hailing the dead to come hither. It will do. There is but one more now. The dark thing that lurks above. What is its card?
Emperor has a key on it. Probably doesn't mean anything, but seems interesting.
It's the Emperor.
The apogee of man's ego. Mighty lord of a lifeless perch, barrenly abiding, and yet in his grasp, the key to life. So then, what have we? The Hanged Man. Judgment.
I feel better about these choices than the first set.
You will call for 3, 1, 10, 1, 3, and from among the dead you will be taken, to be born and reborn, to rise, to fall, and rise again, until you find your way.
That sounds more like the
That
present than it
correct
does the future.
Is what will be.
I guess.
Call!
Did you say call?
No, he said it. Call 4-3 something something something.
Goodbye.
What did he say? 4-3-3? Get the present, and then we'll try to call the future, I guess.
Great giver of counsel. What would you know?
My present.
We will now speak of cards again. For the final time, Querent, it is you that I see. What card shall stand for the man before me?
Hermit, I presume.
The Hermit.
Holding a lamp to see and a staff to walk, but looking only inward. seeking only himself. The
Yeah,
card
that sounds like me.
suits you, but which best befits this place?
This one has a little crab on it. I choose the moon.
The moon.
The hounds bay, and the crab grabs. Beneath
Crab grabs.
reflected light, waxing, waning, weeping. It will do for this strange land. Now, what will you pick for the old scribe?
I choose the Dark Magician.
The magician.
The one that follows the fool, shadowed by the infinite. His hidden bidding is to wield your own wisdom. You would do well to heed the lesson. The hermit, the moon, the magician. What do these cards show? A man who outwits himself, lost in liminal space. That infinitesimal between whence and whither. His well of wisdom has run dry. A worm gnaws at the roots of his confidence, and thought and memory blind his mind's eye. That querent is what is.
I get the impression this was a series of
Winston
important
Winner.
decisions I've made randomly.
Why did you say wince and wither?
Isn't that what the head said? 'Cause we Ravens know all about the moment between wince and wither. Long, short, it all comes down to the same thing. When living becomes dying. And we get ready to dip our beaks.
Goodbye.
I don't want to talk to you. I want to ask him about the
I am
future
what would
and
you-
presume that he will tell me the same clue that I think is literally to call a number on the phone thanks to the bird.
My future.
We have read the future, and you know what we saw. You will call for 3-1-10-1. 3. And from among the dead, you will be taken. That querent.
431? Or maybe 4311?
We're sorry. Please check the...
431? I like that there's items that I have infinite of. That's always fun.
I've already paid.
Oh.
We're sorry. Please check the number and dial...
I'm gonna have to listen to it again. Doesn't he say, like, you will call for 3-1-10-1?
I am Murmur the Magnificent, great
Clicked on
giver
the
of
wrong-
counsel. What would you know?
I clicked on several wrong things. Yeah, it's exciting. Welcome, Arcadius. This has good news. Got free upgrade to the internet, so it's slightly better. That is very exciting. Congratulations. 101?
My...
We have
get
read
that.
and you will call for 3-1-10-1.
Maybe
3. And
Oh,
from
3,
among the
3,
dead
1, 3?
will be taken. That querent is what will be.
313? Point
I've
in.
already...
Oh, still remembered it from before. Okay. 3, 1-1, 3. Does it want a full phone number?
We're sorry. Please check...
I feel like I need to write this down.
What?
There is a way I could cheat this
My future.
and
We
pause
have
to like
read
look
the-
at it.
and you will
What
call
we
for
saw.
3-1-10-1.
Ah, that's not
3.
helpful. Sources. Am here. And I broke that, so that's not working. Great, I need to fix those buttons, not you. This one. You will call 4313. It's unclear if, like, the one, but, like, wonton is supposed to be letters. I mean, 313 feels pretty clear from this, right? Where are you getting the O from? Because I keep hearing 311013. Call for 3, 1. Oh, 10. 1, 10, 1. 3. Yeah, we could try that. I don't know how many. I don't know how many. I don't know how many numbers I need.
And from that.
Oh. Yeah, I mean, it's unclear also. Like, let's try 4, 3, 1, 10, and 3. I think we did it together.
Would you ride the swaying road to heaven?
I guess so?
Maybe?
Are you grown enough to bear the strain?
Are you coming on to me? Yes.
Yes?
Then on wind and through cloud shall thunder the three.
Neat. So is that by the... Or is that a new place? Or is that a new place by the wolf? I'll be honest, the 10 in Wanton didn't sound like 10 to me. It sounds like a lot of people in chat got that, but, like, that didn't read to me. Like, I get it, but, like, that would have taken me a really long time. It's really unclear to me why he won't go around. I mean, like, maybe it would be clearer if just, like, this thing wasn't drawn here, but it feels like I could just walk around.
It's not up. What an idiot. What an...
What's in my inventory now? Drink you won't give the dog, just straight up rat quarter.
I don't want to risk it.
Yeah, that did get me killed before, huh? I still have the knife? I do. What else can I stab? Maybe I could try poison and rat now, although it didn't work before.
What's it going to forget? Being gutted, stuffed with quarters, then cut open again for pocket change?
Yeah, it strongly implies that the drink is meant to be given to a person. It makes a certain amount of sense. Anything in my inventory let me shut off the electricity to the place I want to go? It doesn't look like it. It might be time to jump down the well. But I can also try cutting this open, maybe? I'm supposed to do that from... here. This feels like the kind of game where if I click knife on self, it does something. Knife on hold.
The knife's not sharp enough to cut through the canvas.
That feels weird, but okay, I accept, I guess. I do feel like at some point I might have to reforge the knife into something else. But I don't know for what purpose, so I don't think I do anything with that yet. I go anywhere, right? I take gun and do something else with
seems
it.
to have turned up.
Oh no, I'm just done now. Oh. Just having a little, just being slightly corrupted by the shadow that looms above all or something. Maybe I should listen to the past...
Toenails.
The past and present riddles from the fortune teller
It's not
again?
a throwing knife.
Oh, just like reach up and...
No need to cut that.
Phone call.
Part of me is really tempted to try to use knife on Guy, but I think in this game it's going to have a very different effect than trying it in Siberia
I don't
3.
want to cut them.
like super weirdly tempted to use knife on self just to prove that the game will let me do it. So you can never go back to the starting area, so at some point you really gotta think to grab those rocks.
I have
Nothing
nothing.
else? Okay. Let's... I like that it automatically switches to
I
quarters.
am none. What?
My present.
We have read and you, a man who outwits himself, lost in liminal space. That infinitesimal between whence and whither. His well of wisdom has run dry. A worm gnaws at the roots of his confidence, and thought and memory blind his mind's eye. That, Querent, is what is.
It feels a lot more literal, and I'm not sure if there's a puzzle solution in there. Try something. Oh, that's... And let me save a name. Trace... New save. It's all one word, don't worry about it. He says I'm blinded by memory. If I drink the memory forget juice myself, does that do a good thing, or is that very bad?
But what if I forgot her?
I don't know anything about her. Okay, chat. The instructions of this game are quite clear. Sometimes, death is a way to advance. So allow me to ask you this peculiar question. Shall I attempt to use knife on self, or jump down well? Looks like we're gonna have to jump. I'm sure jumping will work. I'm not sure knife
It's a long way down, but I could give it a shot.
do it. You have to click twice. Whee! Okay, that didn't actually do anything. Wasn't sure whether that would do something or not. Well, chat said, if one fails, try the other.
Maybe it's a way out.
God, if I click it again, wow. Okay. Trigger warning, I think this will probably be a little graphic. Avert your eyes. Here we go. Alright, that didn't really do anything either, but we proved that I was correct and that would do something in this game.
Well, it was worth a try.
Right, that's exactly what we were saying. See, game gets it. This game gets me.
Kid's
Oh, here,
staring
Arcadius,
at
you'll love
heaven
this.
When suddenly there's this stabbing pain in his eye. Can't stop himself from crying. And everywhere he looks, everything's ugly, dirty, and dark. Kid runs to the doctor, and the doc checks him out. Doc says, well, Kai, problem is you've got a little shard in there. Kai looks at him and says, but Doc, you've got a whole mirror in yours.
Do only half of the jokes make sense, or am I too stupid? You know, I think we should just try giving the weird alcohol to the old man, because I don't know who else to give it to, frankly. It's worth a shot. We don't have a lot going on right now. About half of the jokes are, like, decent, if not great jokes. And then about half of them that we've experienced are like, what?
Do you want this, Nepenthe? It's supposed to ease troubled thoughts.
No. I will seek forgetfulness my own way, word by word.
Alright, that didn't help.
Seashore. My claws!
Did you say claws?
Ah, this is how we become Santa. He'll make us a Santa suit out of that one knife we have. I'm just gonna take this for later in case I need it.
Death.
Ooh, can I get a work order for death? Does that just mean that the forge kills me outright? I don't think I can have claw and dagger because it would have to be made of the same piece of material, right? Like, if we got another thing we could make into a claw, maybe. I'd like to ask you about dagger.
I need you to make this dagger sharper.
Fool! You begged for beak, and that is what I gave you. A blade whose bite is fit for what you asked. Now you want more? What you crave is a softer world, or a crueler edge. For that, you must find other tools and other folk. You will get no better from 8-3.
8-3 prides himself on exceptionally mediocre blacksmithery.
What can you tell me about the dark thing?
It should have been burnt away, but the fire did no more than shrink it for a time.
Goodbye.
I mean, I'm pretty sure I could reforge the dagger. I just have no specific reason why I would want to change the shape of dagger. Which is why I'm keeping the paper in my back pocket. Like, if I had a puzzle right now that I felt claw would be good at, I would try. But it seems like I might have to undo that later. Dagger seems like a pretty straightforward tool. How do you deal with wolf? How does one solve a problem like wolf?
I have to kill it.
So is the end goal just the end of the roller coaster? Is that what I'm looking at?
Looks like they start up ahead. It's not up.
Something to be gained by trying to plug up the vents or something? It might be the case that I have to dial 0, which feels dumb. Can anyone think of an obvious thing that, like, I'm just, like, missing
That's
outright?
an eye in something horrible. I'll need to get into the tent first.
There's something consistent about what triggers those, because I've triggered it by looking at that thing before.
Pick either direction, but definitely go left, I guess.
I guess that is basically what those signs say, huh?
I guess some attractions are always out of reach.
Roots?
These roots are supporting an unnatural bridge. These I've got nothing against that bridge. I've got nothing against.
Think claws would be sharper than beak or something? I'm gonna dial 0. It's in the instructions.
I knew you'd call. See, this isn't our first ride on the merry-go-round. And even though I can't hear you, I'll always know what you need. You need her. What's killing her? Can you stop it? Can you even face it?
That didn't seem helpful at all, even a little bit. My next thought is to have this guy read his past riddle again.
I am none what?
My
We have read a man who stands blithe and blind upon the very cusp of change, failing to heed a woman's flesh and blood, while making an idol of her. That Querent, is what was.
So in response to that one, the bird said, idol offer. Perhaps the meaning is you have to offer something to an idol? Or create an idol and offer it to something? Why won't it let me in the cool place? Let me go to the cool place. I want to go to there. It said there was like a siren and some cool stuff. Oh wait, there's a sign here.
Non-stop show, huh? No wait. Tell that to whoever put this gate up.
You love this noise? Rate the noise. Let me try something.
Didn't work.
Let me try that again.
Didn't work.
A lot of rocks right now. Rat
That's not going to work.
You don't know.
That's not...
Chris says, I'm just glad the noise is the game and not my laptop dying. Oh man, hey, I learned a fun thing today. I was pretty sure the battery on my work laptop wasn't functional, and then I lost all power to my apartment, and apparently it works, it's just not good. Which is, you know, reasonably good then. But I want to go to there. If I just click the entrance, does he just touch the fence like an absolute stooge and then die? I think he will. No, it's just no. I really want to go in there, and I have, like, no clues on how to do that without, like, actually convincing one of the birds to, like, land on the lever or something. Which I don't think I can do.
It's her.
It's her.
Never. How would that even work?
No, just apply the rat.
How would that even...
It says lost call 431. Well, I guess that's what we did, right? That's probably the puzzle we solved. You must call 431 and 1. Guess that's not helpful then. Well, the hint system wasn't extremely helpful, huh? Gosh, I feel like I'm, like, missing something. I feel like the position we're at is that we're, like, one or, like, maybe two puzzles away from opening something up that will give us, like, new things to do or new, like, items to use or something.
I have nothing.
So I want that push is all. I want to get to there.
It seems to be a raven.
Childhood.
That's... He said the ravens prefer the dust.
I don't remember him saying that, but I guess that's good information to have.
That's... I don't need the target practice.
Can I throw a rock at the guy? Why is my character like this?
What would a blind old fool do with such a thing?
You want a rat corpse?
What would a blind...
Want a piece of paper that you wrote the word claws on?
I'd rather keep it.
Constellation.
I'm not going to threaten him.
Yeah, but you could try.
The word claws...
Pick a thing on yourself, you
It's
just look
already...
at it.
Bannies.
I mean, it feels like maybe I'm supposed to fill the bird bath with dust then. What happened when we called the future number? It made it so a roller coaster cart was like primed to go, but I think in order to get to there, I have to like deal with the wolf. I mean, I guess in fairness, I'm not sure I've literally tried stabbing the wolf. It feels like I'm gonna die, but apparently there's like no consequence to that, so like let's go stab a wolf, huh? Hey, friend. I think I'm dead now. I think I died. I mean, it feels like at least in theory, if I have infinite lives and he doesn't, I should be able to, like, do some scratch damage or something, right?
I can still feel its teeth.
Neat. Get more rocks.
I've got plenty.
Took an alarmingly large
Strangeland. A bit on the nose.
Stop me if you've heard this one. Man drags himself into a shrink's office. Says, Doc, I got this bad feeling. My wife thinks all I do is dwell on the bad stuff and complain. Shrink says to herself, why'd I ever go and marry my patient?
That joke is very stupid. Jumping down the well doesn't do anything, but it feels like if I had the right tools or the right circumstances, it might. I am not aware of anything I can do to get inside of the sideshow electrified gate area. Our inventory currently consists of infinite supply of rocks, empty rat corpse, I don't know where my brain is, infinite supply of coins, forget-me drug, a crude dagger, and a piece of paper with the word claws written on it. It's not a lot to go on. We gotta deal with the wolf, and I'm not sure if there's anything else we can do now? If I call the help number again, does it say something different, or is it still gonna just tell me that I should play the game more or less?
You ever heard of a white lie? What could be a better example than telling an old man that a raven is a dove?
I mean, I can't begin to imagine what that's gonna do, but sure. I guess we could do that one literal thing.
Are they?
Yes, I suppose.
Sure they're here.
Ah, then let me find a crust of bread.
Hospital.
That's not...
A scrap of meat.
I'd rather think of it as bread for the doves.
Okay, I don't know how I should know that that's true, but sure. It should, I presume, deal with the dog. Did it... Oh, dog, have you heard the good news about meat? Okay. I mean, I could try pouring some, like, drink on it.
I can still feel its teeth.
Welcome, Zacula. It's been a minute. You'd hear some good news about meat. Well, apparently the good news is it got me killed again. Yeah, he did not seem to appreciate that
Some
news.
lady goes to see the doctor. Says, Doc, I feel like there's a monster that's eating me alive. Doc says, come on, lady, it's all in your head.
It literally feels like every other one isn't a joke. Alright, well, I'm gonna go get some more meat, and then I don't know what to do with it. Figure it out, maybe?
Condolences.
Condolences. There you go, Demolition. You hit your coveted 4, 5, 6 gift subs. Thank you very much for gifting a sub to Count Zacula. Much appreciated.
Toenails.
Hello. Old crone. I need more bread.
Could I have some more meat? I mean, bread? For the doves.
Hey, you know, for the doves. does he get all that meat? Okay, so like, what if...
A knockout marinade.
Is that how anyone's ever pronounced that word? Also, that doesn't seem like a really obvious application of that liquid, but sure, it is the second thing I would think to try. Yeah, I mean, like, I sort of see that, Neko. I was thinking the same thing, but it still ends up not being a joke. If the doctor is a monster that's, like, attacking her from inside her mind, it's just, like, it kind of, like, isn't anything. There, does that count as good news about meat, Zacula? The pronunciation, Merino. Demolition is real quick on the draw, Zacula, but I appreciate the sentiment that you were going to hit the button. Also, I'm very excited to hear you got a new job. I hope that it is something good. Hope you're excited about your new job. Tainted meat!
His eyes looked at me.
Oh, that's some good work, Ditto. I appreciate that. These buttons are here for a reason. I like to think that that dog's last thoughts were gone. Alright, so what's in the booth?
Some carny left himself a to-do list taped to the wall in here.
Carnies.
Too many winners. Turn up the skull speed. Shut down MOTD. Starfish keeps spitting acid on guests.
I hear
Find
that.
something for Ozzy to chew on.
Doesn't seem extremely helpful at all.
Beware of dog. Thanks, guys.
What a jerk.
What an idiot.
Alright, I guess I'm going this way.
Hey, stranger.
Shh. We're supposed to be men.
Thanks, game. Whatever's happening. More hotel work, night shift. I don't step down from managing a hotel, but it pays money. I like getting paid money. Yeah, I hear that, Zacula. I hear that. So, gosh, wow. Do I have to? Oh, Zacula, this game is wonderful for making you uncomfortable. There's some good stuff in here. Called the Maskettes. Tell me about the Maskettes.
Who are you?
Well, we're sure not Valkyries.
I like that one's
sign
little...
confuse you.
And we're not fates, neither, just because there's 3 of us.
That's more
That voice is
Murmur's
very familiar.
thing.
We're not weird sisters, even if we are strange. After all, you're strangers still.
What?
Okay, you've said who you're not, but who are you?
Just think of us as fragments.
Figments.
Pigments.
Ugh.
What? We're here to add color, aren't we?
I think I was saying she did some research and I mean it's a Watch It Eye game. I guess it's not the same team who made Unavowed, which is the only other Watch It Eye game I've played on stream. I have a few others. I think I've streamed any. Might be wrong. Might be one other that I've done.
Do you have names?
The 3 Masketeers!
Ugh.
Look, I'm sure you mean well. But everybody knows not to give their name to a stranger.
I mean, you could give me a fake name. You're wearing horrible giant masks.
What's with the masks?
Everyone wears them.
You've got one too!
What?
We all have a role to play.
And in this story, there's only room for one woman.
That's why we've gotta be guys.
This game is so spectacularly stupid.
What's under the mask?
Nothing.
It's just
Legends
more masks.
say it's death to gaze upon a masker, unmasked.
But I bet you don't pay attention to foolish gossip like that.
I think my favorite one is the one on the left just because of her little dance.
Get it?
Ugh.
I'd like to ask you about
What
me.
do you mean I'm wearing a mask?
Oh, Come on, stranger. You don't really think you escaped from some sanitarium, sporting a retro straitjacket and movie star stubble?
We all
Definitely
dress
what I
our
look like.
best to fit what we think the world wants.
And in a strange land, it suits a man to be estranged.
Hey, why would the world want you all to wear that all that? What do you think that is?
I met an old scribe under a tree.
Ugh, he's the worst.
What a strange
His
thing to say.
handwriting's terrible. I wanted A3 to make me a gaggle of bagels. And you don't even want to guess what I wound up with when I showed him the note that old man wrote.
I bet there's a joke in there, but my brain's not processing it. No, I'm not thinking of it. Let me know if you're smarter than me.
Where am I?
Well, stranger, I have a feeling you're not in Kansas anymore.
Ugh, come on. Enough with the one-liners.
Fine. You're at wit's end.
Just cut the poor guy a break.
All right then. We'll call it the breaking point.
Don't let that old crab get you down. Remember what they say. Home is where the heart is.
Is she the crab that the old man saw in the future? Maybe? I mean, the Valkyrie's supposed to take us to the future. Luckily, we did that part.
What can you tell me about Murmur?
He's got a head for prophecies.
It's literally all they got? Okay.
There was a golden-haired woman who...
The woman.
There's only one of them in your story.
We won't judge.
Can you tell me anything about her?
She's trying to save you.
You need to find her.
You're kind of a Hansel in distress.
Where can I find her?
Up.
Up.
And away.
Got there. Knew that was coming.
Do you know anything about the dark thing?
I'm scared of the dark.
While I wait for the dusk.
You'll find out soon enough.
Can I look under your mask?
That's very
Can't
forward.
say we didn't warn him.
I'm about to die. It doesn't even, like, try to render something scary under there. It's just, like, implied that it was just too horrible. What?
Nothing. Absolute nothing.
I don't know. I feel like there's... Even if the idea is that there's just nothing under the mask, I feel like there's some way to hint at that visually that would have been
Hero
cool.
goes to his goddess and says, "There's this monster that's so horrible, if I look at it, I'll die. Please," he says, "give me something to help." Goddess gives him a shield so smooth it can reflect the world. Says, "Here's a joke."
The three masked people said he was a Hansel in distress, as in Hansel and Gretel. I think the idea being that his fate is intertwined with hers, and so they're like a Hansel and Gretel. But he needs saving, so he's a Hansel in distress. But earlier they sort of implied that both of us need saving.
Told ya.
Alright, let's ride the roller coaster. I mean, I understood the mythological reference. I didn't quite get how the mirror was the joke there. I think I'm just slightly too stupid or something. Whee! Progress? Am I making progress? I mean, this feels like progress. And it's gone. At least I have my trusty knife if things go south. Yeah, I mean, I would guess it's bad here.
Please. Help me.
That's some extra horrible Darkseid stuff right there. Saculus says, "I think I'm slightly too stupid as the story of my life." You've seen me stream, you know what up.
You are going to die, and she is going to live. Do you hear me?
Okay. Finally have control.
Well, I guess I made it. Well,
lots to look at.
I'm not sure. That tree looks so tiny from up here.
It's pretty much bar and dark thing, huh? Can I talk to dark thing? Sounds like a no. That feels
Just
like a no.
looking at it is agony. I need to kill it.
Dude, I can hear you. That's really harsh. You don't need to go there. You could just say, like, you're not interested. That just seems rude, you know? Yeah, it's literally, if I look at him, it just goes real bad. So, like, I either stab it or I, like, lift the bar and let it out? Is that the idea? Is this, like, a morality thing? Oh, yeah, this game has saves. I could, like, literally save. Sure. Death awaits you. About to override the save. Yeah.
It's holding the cage.
Holding the cage shut. Bars? I thought I... Oh, yeah, it's probably the bar.
I can't reach it through the bars.
Oh, okay, then I guess I'll just let it out, and that's fine.
I'm coming for you.
This feels like that Twilight Zone episode. Anyone ever see The Howling Man? I feel like we just did The Howling Man, which is like not... You don't... Oh, no, it's Giant Germ or something. No, I don't seem to have control. According to plan. It feels like an understatement.
You know,
What you got for me?
You used to laugh a lot more. Guess the funny bone's one of the first things to go.
Ran out of the long-winded ones, huh? Died too many times?
Querent. Now the Emperor is loosed from his throne. Your lover is caged. And you, a witless wanderer, wane and wax and wane again, like this accursed moon. You will wear yourself to nothing on this journey to nowhere.
Journey to nowhere, I love that
Fly
part.
free. You need fire and spirit and golden wings. And a Valkyrie to set you on the right road. Go to her!
I think I'm gonna get killed again.
Go to her now!
What's happening? Oh, he killed my future man. That giant germ is way more effective than the Yu-Gi-Oh one. And I was expecting a phone call.
This is what I meant when I said you only make things worse. You're the one who opened the cage, but everyone else is going to suffer. It's not going to stop with Murmur. It's not even going to stop with her.
That feels anticlimactic. Yeah, even when Master says literally dies. Ugh, not this again. That is the video game life, though, isn't it?
You said death was different, but what about Murmur?
Guess it was his time to go.
Goodbye.
Alright, I guess I accept that at face value. Has anything changed now that that's happened? Like, this is the same. Misinterpreting it, or do now sometimes animations implying that the giant germ will appear? Just happen randomly on various maps.
I guess I hit that branch on the way down.
Oh, cool. It's that noose I wanted.
It's tied too well.
Looks like a job for dull knife.
There. Huh. It seems like it's grown longer.
Life always gives you a rope long enough to hang yourself, and then some.
Wow, that's actually kind of deep.
That part at the base looks ready to break off.
Mitts.
I've got no use.
Got everything? Everything I can glean from the new branch? Have anything new to say to me, old crone?
Bread, please.
I like the absolute lack of ceremony.
The dark thing. It destroyed Murmur.
The fool feels he'll live forever if the fight he faces not. But woes grow worse with age than all the spears that spared him.
Goodbye.
Okay, so let's just like real quick take stock of our inventory. Infinite rocks, infinite quarters, rat corpse, empty bottle, knife, piece of paper with the word claws written on it. Oh, the bar is the thing that sealed the cage, right? And I have a noose, some meat, and a branch. Alright, yeah, there's definitely, like, spooky evil, like, busting up out of the floor now.
I need you to make me weapons.
Did I not give you the beak? A blade that cuts deep? Did I not make that work to order, as I swore? Trouble me no more with begging, and wield what you were given.
I like how much this guy hates me. It makes me really happy. This guy's attitude feels like me dealing with people at work. Like, multiple times this week, I've given people, like, 2, like, sentences worth of instructions.
What's it doing?
What is it doing? Oh, it busted up my, my roller coaster, huh? It was like salad fingers for some reason. Am I her now? No. Oh, maybe the telescope's useful? Like, at least twice, but like multiple times this week, I've like literally, someone's been like, Vasco, I have some really straightforward problem that you've literally already told me how to solve in the email you originally wrote to me, and I'm like, I'd be happy to help with that. Simply follow these like 2 steps worth of instructions. And then they're like, Vasco, I still don't know what to do, and I'm like, did you literally do the 2 things I told you to do? And they're like, okay, it's fixed now. It's like, maybe just try the 2 instructions. They're not even individually complicated.
It's not up.
Let's go talk to the masked people. Oh, no, they're gonna die. Oh no, it's just mucking up my roller coaster again.
That doesn't look good.
I like that it levitated me, just to show off. It didn't need to do that. Can I ask about Face? Do I just die
What
again?
did the dark thing do to the car?
It snuffed the spirit lamps.
Without spirits, the Valkyrie has no reason to ride.
You must find a way to kindle them again.
What exactly am I doing with those lamps?
Giving the old girl something to carry up.
What exactly am I
Giving the old girl something to carry up.
You have to help me kill the dark thing.
Masks don't make us heroes.
That's not our job in this story.
We're really just the peanut gallery.
The chorus.
Strophe.
Antistrophe.
And epode.
Chorus girls.
No, we're supposed to be guys.
Well,
kind of
whatever we
explains
are,
the outfits,
we're
I
not
guess.
mentors.
So, look for help somewhere else.
Touch your face? $5?
What did I see under there?
You saw the reason why everyone wears masks. I promise we won't ask to look under yours.
Goodbye.
Yep.
I get a closer look at it?
Let's see what the dark thing did.
Like a puzzle or just
It's cold. It's cold. It's cold. It's cold. It's cold.
I think it's cold. Yeah, I'm gonna go with it's cold.
It's a.
Yeah, that doesn't. It's not like extremely helpful, friend.
That's not.
Oh yeah, if I can use my inventory here.
That's not going to.
I don't think I have anything to help here. I don't exactly know. Oh, hey! Oh! Hey! Hey, everyone, hey! I think I know what I can do now. This... Noose!
I'm never
So
gonna
that
be
lever-
able to lasso the switch.
No, literally lasso
I'm
it!
never gonna be able to.
You monster! Why not?
I'm never gonna be.
Why not? This is a solution to the puzzle. At least give me, like, a reason. Tell me, like, why you can't do it so I can fix it. Because this is definitely how you pull the lever from a distance. To use a rope to grab it. Don't at me on this. Great Jacket Man. What is your name? I don't know.
It's too far away. It's too clumsy to get the latch open. I'll need to turn the electricity off and use my hands.
Hey, you know what would be a good start with that? Is using your noose to lasso
I'm
the
never
lever.
gonna be able to.
Oh, that's really annoying. I really don't... Like, it's one thing if the game is like, oh, I need you to employ some obscure adventure puzzle logic before I'll let you solve the puzzle. And it's another thing for it to be like, I can't solve the puzzle using, like, actual logic. Nothing appears to have changed here. You know what? You know what, Neko? That's a really good thought. What would happen if I threw my infinite rocks at the lever? There's only one way to find out.
Didn't work.
Let me try that again.
Didn't work.
Let me try that again.
Didn't work.
Let me try that again.
Didn't work.
Try that again.
Didn't work.
It doesn't seem to be doing anything. Maybe I can use my infinite quarters?
You can't just throw money at every problem.
Tell me what to do.
You can't. I'm never gonna be able.
It really bothers me. That bothers me maybe more than it should, but it definitely bothers me quite a lot. Because, like, that really feels like the thing I should be able to do now. It's like, now that I have the lasso, which I didn't have previously in the game, there's a mysterious box here now.
Actually, maybe just this once, I'll leave it there.
Well, tell me what it is,
It's
though.
just a box.
Why-
I should
what-
definitely leave it alone.
What? Hang on, why should you definitely
I
leave
have
the
nothing-
box alone?
A ra-
Wait, no, what? Wait, what? I don't understand. What is it about the box that he is so convinced is so bad I should leave it alone forever? Ahoy, Sarah, thank you very much for the 15-month resub. You get one of these. We are currently playing Strangeland, an extremely strange game in which our protagonist, this man in the straitjacket, is convinced that this box is
It
evil.
doesn't look hard to open. I just don't want to open it.
That feels like a really unhelpful attitude to have in this adventure game where I have no leads. How are you doing tonight, Sarah? Good to see you here. I'm excited to do something with this bottle, but there's no, like, things to use it on. I definitely feel like at some point I'm gonna fill up this bird bath and something bad's gonna happen.
Cytotoxic.
Maybe this bird will say something that will inspire me while I try to think about how
Easter.
to do anything. So I need to light the spirit lanterns. They're cold and it's a problem.
Specialist.
And I don't. That's all I got. I feel like that's all I got. Maybe I can lasso this bird, and then the bird can do the lever for me.
It's not a lasso.
I really strongly dislike how convinced he is that it's not a lasso when it could easily be used as a lasso. Yes, this is... I would say that this is a very spooky point and click. There's like a spooky point and click. And then like this, I would say is very spooky. I don't know if chat agrees. There were some strong feelings early on that they didn't like it. Not like literally didn't like it, but the things were upsetting, which was pretty much the goal. Oh, do you just happen to know how to turn on a spirit lamp, old man?
Do you know how to kindle a spirit lamp?
I suppose you'd need spirits and a fire, huh?
I kinda hate you.
Could you be a little more specific about how to kindle it?
I once read, a brand from a brand is kindled and burned, and fire from fire begotten. For fire, you should seek 8-3. For spirits, this place is full of them.
Alright, I'll give you that.
What did you mean? This place is full of spirits.
You know what I meant. There's a shadow the dead leave behind. Words that echo in your ears. Phantoms that linger behind your eyes. And a weight of pain heaped up on your back. Even your voice has that stoop to it, stranger. A man can carry the dead, but their place is on the pyre.
Interesting.
Do you understand? Once you have a flame, it will draw spirits from the dead as though they were moths.
Goodbye.
So, fire first. Okay, fair enough.
Seizures.
There says this guy's getting turned. He's full of spirits. Yeah, man. I love. It's much worse than before, huh? It's creeping up on the edges of the frame. Oh, I have to like literally leave or I'll die. Got it. At some point, I got control again. 8-3 really dislikes me. Do I need to get the bird to say spirit lamp or something? I don't know.
I need you to help me rekindle the spirit lamps inside the Valkyrie ride.
A living man cannot hold the living flame, and it is the spirits of the dead that light the dark.
Okay.
So how can I rekindle them?
The flame burns here. It must burn there.
Just tell me how.
Before men had words for their grief, they learned how to bear fire.
Okay.
Has the light of reason grown so dark? Go, and bother me no more on this matter.
This guy really hates me. I enjoy how much he doesn't care for me.
You have said...
I'm quite sick of your crap, idiot.
It would burn right up. It needs some fuel that would last longer. I don't want to burn. Even cooked, it would be unappetizing.
Okay. What to do with the vents? At the classic adventure game impasse, if I have a bunch of stuff in my inventory that doesn't seem useful anywhere I can currently go, but also I have a bunch of problems that aren't solved by the things that I have. Oh, hey, wait a minute. The bar is like a new material that I could make a new bird part out of, right? I mean, I suppose I could just try claw since I have claw, right? See if this works. I kind of thought the bar was like symbolic and thus more important, but maybe not. Maybe it's just literal metal.
Behold the claws, fit for one who would grasp and clutch.
This doesn't feel helpful. Alright, look at that.
Iron claws.
You know what I actually want? You know what I think I want? The box moved.
Well, if I have to take it, I can still just leave it closed up.
Why wouldn't he touch it before? What a peculiar thing. I think I need...
A fool gets a box. He knows he shouldn't open it, but he opens it anyway. All the horrors of the world come pouring out. Disease and death. Loss
I literally
and
just scrolled
loneliness.
past it in my inventory. I didn't even
Revulsion
click
and
on it.
regret. Fool falls to the ground, trembling with fear. Says to himself, at least there's hope at the bottom. Then a phone rings, and the voice on the other end says, what bottom?
So did I just die, or like... So like literally nothing happened?
Loathsome.
Loathsome indeed. Sorry, you're dealing with a roller coaster of emotions, Sarah. Are you still mid-move at this point? Mention it last week.
Anniversary.
What's happening? I have no idea, Cotillion. Extremely unclear. What I was trying to say before whatever that happened. I think I need wing. The game said something about, like, in order to proceed, I needed, like, fire and Valkyrie and wing. So I think I need to get the bird to say wing.
My wing.
And then take that paper.
Huh? Wing?
I'm inclined to say I don't need claw, but I might have to change that later. Anyway, I'm taking wing.
It's illegible.
G is the cruelest letter for a blind man to write.
That's interesting.
Classroom.
That's interesting. How do I solve that problem? Maybe I just don't need that? Or maybe that is a puzzle. Looks great, but only
Specialist.
halfway done. I mean, at least halfway done, right? What did you mean by scary movies are bad? Have you been watching them and they're upsetting? I'm with Cotillion. I love I don't like dislike Halloween, but like there's some people who Halloween's like totally their jam. Oh, I'm getting a phone call, everyone. You all know that Christmas is my jam. It's almost Hallmark
Hello?
season. It starts before Halloween.
Hello?
What bottom?
My bottom? Whose bottom? Halloween is 120% your jam. Oh yeah, I don't know if you were here for it, Sarah. We were definitely recently having a discussion where I think most of chat is sort of on the same page of like none of us. I don't think the vast majority of us at least are into like blood and gore, but like spooky, like thriller kind of
Phone
stuff is
call.
cool. Okay, here's one of those ridiculous questions that only gets asked in adventure games, is like, how do I help a blind man write the letter G? Is that something? Do I care?
Seashore. Neoplasm.
You can try writing other bird words. The beak I already have, claws I have. The three? Is that it? For some reason I thought there was like at least another one. Body gives you wing, head gives you beak, legs gives you claws. I already have two of the three and I can't get him to write wings. So, maybe the next thing to do is find a use for claws, and maybe that leads somewhere? Very gothic, interesting movie a friend recommended turns out to be full of uncomfortable experiences. What movie is that, Sarah? I don't know if it's one I would recognize since I don't watch a lot of traditional scary movies. Would you
I
care to
have nothing to
elaborate?
say to.
No, it's just saying words. Crimson Peak. I think I know that one. I think that I could do with claws.
What I have done, thus in metal, do I make.
Okay, so I can't ask him about that or use it to stoke the fire or anything. A remarkably small world for me to be stuck so many times.
Too many winners. Turn up the skull speed. Shut down MOTD. Starfish keeps spitting acid on guests. Find something for Ozzy to chew on.
I don't know how that checklist is supposed to help. I've heard someone else reference Bone Tomahawk recently, Demolition, but I don't think I've actually, like, heard of it before.
It's not sharp enough to...
Nothing I have is sharp enough to help with the tent, huh? So this is a screen where I could definitely die, huh? Doesn't seem like there's anything to do up north now.
It's as if Murmur's head has been hollowed out. There's nothing... What did it do?
Whatever it did, it's bad, and I don't really like it.
It's too far away to snag.
Ooh. Hang on. This probably won't work.
Not a bad grapple, if I do say so myself.
I did it! I solved the puzzle! The lasso would work, and shut up, game.
Here goes nothing.
Do I finally get to go inside and meet the siren?
Ha!
He sounds as smug as I feel. Alright, new location.
Come in! Read the plaques, play with the freaks, and plumb the mysteries of the deep.
I can't imagine things getting much more mysterious than they already are. But let's go see what they've got.
I love that the voice actor's like deliberately like applying unnecessary additional gruff to his lines. Oh, I think that's the starfish that keeps shooting acid at everyone, huh? Dracula says, finally almost caught up on One Piece. Ooh, that's very exciting. Whereabouts are you? I'm a little behind now. I'm still decently caught up in the current story arc, but I haven't watched in a while. Okay.
I touch it. It's ruined.
I think the expression is you broke it, you bought it.
For a penny?
What am I doing exactly?
It's going to be hard enough already to get my hands clean.
Okay, you're in the Wano flashbacks. That's like not far off from. I'm like a little further than that. It's like a lot of One Piece, huh?
A missing
How you
bird
liking
head
it?
is the least of anyone's problems here.
So I just have a bird head, huh? I'd like to take a closer look at the bird head.
It's sodden with sticky oil.
Okay. Am I making a torch then?
It doesn't fit.
I need some fabric to wrap around branch and then cover it in bird head oil? The whole show or just Wano? Answer is the same. Absolutely love it. Good answer. This mermaid doesn't look extremely
That's
friendly.
a lot of buttons.
I'm not totally convinced that that this mermaid is like the princess of Atlantis from you know like the I don't think it's the Little Mermaid. I don't think it's Ariel. Yeah, I really like the seeing Roger in the flashbacks. I feel like that's like an important thing that was done in a way that I enjoyed. Oh, is it one of these? Kind of did a great job there. I only kind of know what I'm doing, so... Ah. Good enough! I activated the cursed mermaid.
What have they done to me?
I don't know, man, this place sucks.
Who are you? What are you?
I don't know. I don't know. This isn't me. I don't feel right. I can't think right. There are things in my head that aren't memories. And when I try to remember, it's like my mind is full of steel wool.
Believe me, I know how you feel.
No. You
yeah,
have
Mondays,
no
am I right?
idea.
You said they did something to you. Who are they?
I don't know. I can't remember. There was metal and lights, and there were men speaking. Their voices are cold and distant. I don't understand the words. And then they're hurting me. And I hear them say, "This will help." People like that sign their handiwork. If you want their names, I'm sure you can find them.
God, it's on the plaques. It said to read the plaques, right? It says, she's like very icky and all, but are we not going to address the giant icky starfish? I was saving that for last because I'm pretty sure touching it generates acid and kills me.
Do you know anything about the dark thing?
They took my sight. For me, everything is dark.
I don't want to undersell how tortured she seems, but actually really appreciate the way this conversation is written, where, like, I'm still trying to be the adventure game protagonist and ask stupid crap about my quest, and she's like, every moment for me is agony. And I'm like, yeah, but, like, the dark thing? And she's like, don't even start with me.
There was a golden-haired woman.
I was a woman once.
I can't imagine asking this again is gonna go anywhere good.
But I'm trying to help another woman.
Very
They
good.
said they were helping me, but now I'm gone. Maybe she's gone too.
Maybe I shouldn't have solved the light bright, huh?
You said that there's something in your mind that isn't memories. What did you mean?
I don't know. I don't understand. It's like someone carved his thoughts into my mind.
Does it include the letter G? I could use that.
Carved what thoughts?
I know about metal. I know how to make it bend to my will.
Oh.
How to fill it with my own pain.
Part's a
Until
little
it has
trouble.
the power to hurt. To cut.
So she can make my knife sharp?
I need a weapon to kill the dark thing.
Of course you do. What did you have in mind?
Can't you just make me a weapon?
Bring me what it is you want.
She got dark real
Goodbye.
fast. Let's look at that plaque.
Stream made. Donated by Rhoda, Atri, and Alberic.
Huh. Wonder if that's supposed to be the women in the masks. It did say that the only true woman in the store was supposed to be Leanne. I'm gonna call her because she was jumping to her death at the start of the game. But there's the stream made here. Curious.
Black Swan. It doesn't look much like a swan to me.
Not after you took its head and shoved it in your pocket. Hey, let's go ahead and save again. Friend question mark seems fine as we just met like a cursed horrible mermaid. Back. By the way, volume's still good. I had to mess around with it a ton. I was really expecting to do more adjusting, but I haven't gotten much feedback.
Marthasterius glacialis insolitus. Talk about a mouthful. Known for its irritability and powerful gastric acid.
Cool. Can I have some?
That's not going to work.
What if I touch it?
My head. It's like something's in here.
Beneath the summer sun we throng, and fling our spawn to speckle the sea with white. Aftermath, barren, extinct.
I'm dead.
Great sickness strikes. I will waste away into white muck.
None of these answers make sense. Yeah, I bet the starfish gets invited to a lot of parties.
Ashes, dust, clay.
I think I did it.
From a
I agree,
single
Evie
part,
Point Master.
My whole regrows.
But I don't think I'm gonna be very good at this. I mean, I think the voice acting in general is pretty strong. But like, I do think that the voice effects that are applied to the characters that have them are very effective. It's really easy to like overdo it or make them feel like campy or weird, but I feel like they're all really well done. Goes back from the hole. Like resilience? I don't know.
Endure, strength, want.
I've only been hurt by its thoughts
The
once.
sea itself serves for my blood.
Always just the right one?
Home, union, obliteration.
Synonyms, yeah. Hey, cool, what?
Each limb ends in an eye that separates light from dark.
Wow. I don't understand. I'm trying giving my knife to this mermaid.
My dagger. Can you make it sharper? Stronger?
Oh, yes. As sharp as tragedy, as strong as despair.
I really like this mermaid character. She's
When a
upsetting,
woman
but like in
from
a
the
really
water
interesting way.
gives you a blade, she always begs a boon. Are you ready to pay the price?
Neko pulled the trigger and ordered some Hollow Knight plushies. That's great. I'm glad. I'm excited for you. I mean, I feel like I need sharp knife because then I can get in circus tent and deal with the horrible eye, which, since it exists, feels important. Whatever this is, it's gonna be awful though.
Yes?
My name.
Oh.
I want my name.
Okay, that's like way less upsetting than I
hone
expected.
you an edge that will cut right to the heart.
I like this character a lot.
Stream donated by Rhoda, Atri, and Alberic.
Okay, well, my best guess is to go talk to the Masketeers, whatever they called themselves. can't ask about mermaid, huh?
With fire.
Goodbye.
Okay. So, I must have the answer to her name before I can go into the circus tent, so that can't be where that information is. Fortune teller's dead. You know anything about the mermaid?
Did you help make the stream made in the mysteries of the deep?
I work in metal and shape with flame. The living have no place upon my anvil. Whoever this maiden is, she was forged by others' deeds.
Got it. You don't swing that way.
Goodbye.
Cool.
You have said so before.
Let's try talking to the old man.
I have nothing to say to him.
That's not helpful.
A raven.
Constellation.
I still have my grappling hook. Does
seems-
that do anything Oh. That wouldn't help me get over to tent, would it?
It's too far off. It's too...
Okay.
The game seems to have...
I think this screen just serves no purpose now. Just like a surefire sign that I've missed
I have
something
nothing
important.
Fire!
There's like not really anyone to talk to. I either need a lead on how to find the mermaid's name, or I need to figure out how to get Spirit Flame from the blacksmith to the roller coaster. It seems as though the suggestion that the old man gave us is that, like, if we get the fire to the roller coaster, then it will sort of bring the spirits there. So I feel like that's not a two-step process. It's just one, maybe. Maybe.
I broke it when I fell. It's sodden with sticky oil. It's barbaric, but hey, it works.
That's not the application I was expecting to apply, the combination of that items, but that might work. Yes. Let's try using that as torch. What a cool and normal thing I'm doing.
The burning brand you now bear is bright enough to beat back the dark, and hot enough to warm the dead. Go and make use of it.
Okay. Did I die? Did I die? Did I die? I too miss Darkest Dungeon, Sarah. I'm thinking of just like playing it off stream recently. Sort of had a vision. Oh, and I floated away, and Evil Germ is back. Oh, Annie. Oh, no, not 8-3! Man, Jerk's gonna kill all the characters, isn't he? Even my beloved mermaid. Hope he doesn't kill the mermaid. I will let you know if I do that, Katane. That could be fun. The hang it. Do I still have it? There it is. You know, like the roller coaster car on fire. Normal stuff like that.
Nothing happened.
Fire alone isn't enough.
You need a spirit.
Yeah.
You need a spirit.
Why do you think they call it a spirit lamp, dummy?
There's like 6 of them. Aren't you supposed to get like 6 spirits? I'm aware that the Darkest Dungeon 2 beta comes out on the Epic Games Store, but I don't know if I want to deal with that. It's like multiple reasons. I've never really used the Epic Games Store much. Not super enthusiastic about it for some reason. So I know that the first one was a little rough around the edge. Like, the original Darkest Dungeon didn't have corpses when it was first created. And the corpses, like, really balanced that game. I've seen some gameplay from, like, the pre-corpse times, and some of the characters were just absurdly overpowered. Like, any frontliner was just so stupidly good. Yeah, like, I might revisit the idea later, but it's not really high on my to-do list to play Darkest Dungeon 2 while it's exclusive to Epic. I mean, eventually I'm almost certain it's coming to Steam, and at that point, like, I'll definitely play it. I appreciate the heads up, Angel. Just wanted to let you know, like, it's something I'm aware of. It's not a priority. Does the rat corpse have a spirit?
Goodbye.
I don't think so. Just, you know, like bus fare. Infinite bus fare. Oh yeah, they've been working on a Darkest Dungeon sequel for a while. They started releasing some information about it earlier this year. Honestly, I'm upset about a lot of what I know. I think the general direction they're taking the game is good, but it seems like they eliminated most of my favorite heroes from the roster, and that bums me out really hard. Particularly the Crusader, which was like one of my like 2 or 3 favorites. They've more or less suggested that the Crusader is just killed. He's just dead. Infinite bus fare would be a decent, if underwhelming, superpower. Count Zacula, have you ever heard of something called The Lost Room? It was a Sci-Fi Channel original miniseries from around the time I was in high school or college. And, basically the premise is like some weird thing happened once, and as a result, an entire like hotel room's worth of like mysterious, implausible objects were created through some unnatural force. And one of them that they mention early on is a pencil. That every time you tap the pencil on something, it generates a single penny. Which is quite similar to the concept of infinite bus fare. Also, I love The Lost Room. It's very good. It's like one of my favorite things. I was just marveling at the fact that somehow I acquired a DVD of this miniseries when I was in college. I'm glad I do, because I have no earthly idea where you would go to find this thing. At least not through any legitimate channel. To answer your question, Echo, I don't recall all of the ones that... I think there was only, like, 7 or 8 that they revealed as being, like, confirmed part of Darkest Dungeon 2, but I mean, Arbalest was definitely excluded. Crusader was definitely excluded. I can't remember if Hellion was one of them. I know Vestal wasn't included. So, like, a lot of my favorites were not included in the group for the second one, at least at launch. Which, like, is frustrating. There's a lot of emphasis on the Highwayman for some reason. Really showing him off. I have nothing to say to...
Death.
Sometimes a torch can solve any problem, but not today.
I don't remember a miniseries called Dinotopia. I do! I don't remember it in great detail. That one came out when I was a little younger. But I remember reading the books beforehand and also not remembering a lot about those, to be honest. I think Angel's gonna look up...
What would a blind old fool do with such a thing?
Maybe now that I have the torch, I can ask him about spirits again?
I have nothing...
Toenails.
But yes, Zach, I do remember Dinotopia. I need a name before I can get in here. I can't do anything at the shooting gallery if the old man can't help me. That limits somewhat what I am able to do. Maybe because we saw this guy get dead, absorb his spirit with the torch?
Ah, the querent.
Oh, that's not what I was expecting.
Still burning with questions. The fire is fitting, and from it we will draw truth. I see the end, querent. I see the living die, and the dead speak. In the gray, grim home of ghosts, I see the one with wings rising up, ready to face his foe at last. Fool, hermit, hanged man, death, devil, emperor, priestess, lover, empress. You know what waits. You know the stakes. But I I know no more.
The steaks are the weird meat
Now it
that the old
falls
man
to
gave
you
me.
to give the final answer.
Do I need 6 spirits? This is gonna be a long game.
That was unnerving.
That feels about right. Alright, Demolition, thanks for stopping by, and thank you again for the gift subs. As always, you don't need to do those things. Nicholas, since you rewatched Dinotopia recently, it's peak 2000s, and recommends a rewatch if your cringe tolerance is high. Ooh, that's a solid recommendation.
Warm
huh?
the dead, huh? Let's give it a try.
My embers are rekindled by my own fire, and I live again, at least while it lasts.
Okay. Is there anyone else? If I use the flame at the well, does that give me her
No
spirit?
sense throwing that away.
Oh, so the bird just says
I have
whatever I
nothing to
need
say to it.
next. Maybe I could use it to get the spirit of the Black Swan. I think your least favorite character was Man-at-Arms? That's interesting, Neko. I think Man-at-Arms is confirmed in the new one? I don't know. Hey, look, this actually worked. A lot of people actually really like Man-at-Arms, but evidently he is not popular within my chat. I'm sort of lukewarm on him. Not my favorite. I think Tech ended up being a real big fan of his. Gonna save again. Hellion is super good. Love Hellion. I love, like, Hellion, Crusader, Arbalest, and Vestal are probably my 4 favorites. Not necessarily as a team, but no, that actually sounds fun. I don't know what to do with this starfish.
Each lane ends in an eye that separates light from dark.
Thank you for the follow, dual names. Much appreciated. Bounced around with all my windows, sorry about that. I mean, is there a certain number of these I have to get right for the starfish to eat me or not eat me or whatever the good result is? If I answer its questions, does it die so I can then, like, consume its spirit with my flaming stick? Line feels like it's wrong, right? It needs something that separates light from dark.
God, create, beginning. I am and act, yet need no brain.
Fire. How's the game so far? I'm loving this game. I mean, if you can tolerate the spooky atmosphere and you like a good old-fashioned point-and-click adventure, this game is for you. This game has been a real treat so far.
Destroy! Feed! Power! From a single part, my whole regrows.
I think that was resilience, right?
Endure strength want. When the great sickness strikes, I will waste away
This
into
one was
white smoke.
cycle, right?
Ashes, dust, clay.
I got all of them right in that segment. I don't know what that... I mean, I'm brute forcing it in that I'm trying to guess, and I think I've gotten it right almost every time. Either that or there's like only one wrong answer, and I've just avoided that. It's not something I've heard dual names, that the person who coded this, one that likes to go to Twitch streams and hijack them.
I slip my gut between the valves and feed till my foe is hollowed out.
Oh, that's the most upsetting one so far. Oh, that's spot on. Neko says the starfish sounds like she's reading a Grim Fandango poem in the hipster club. Oh, that is cool, Zach. I didn't realize you played Whispers of a Machine. I have mixed feelings about that game, but it has some really cool ideas. But it's cool that the voice actor stopped by. I've had something like that happen only once. I was playing a game called Mages of Mistralia, which I highly recommend. I think that game's super rad. And like someone just showed up in my chat and was like, "By the way, I'm like one of the developers. I hope you're enjoying it." I was like, "Oh, okay." I honestly can't remember what lead from Whispers of a Machine sounds like now. So the question was like, I like slip my gut into the prey and feed until it dies or something like that?
Weakness, revulsion, embarrassment. From a single part, my whole regrows.
I just don't get this because it doesn't feel like I make any progress.
Endure, strength, want.
Yeah, this...
Beneath the summer
not a lot of major parts in this game, that's true.
And fling our spawn to speckle the sea with white. Respect, yearning, neglect. Each limb ends in an eye that separates light from dark. God, create, beginning.
Well, that's an interesting thought, Angel. Maybe I do have to anger it. Let's go ahead and save, and then try and choose wrong, and see if that, like, kills us but leaves acid behind that we can use for some purpose. Something like that. Whee!
Beneath the summer.
Ash was wrong.
Aftermath. Barren. Extinct. The sea itself serves for my blood.
Harmony was right, so how about salt?
Sweat. Tears.
Ah, so there is only one wrong one, huh? Is that how it works?
I am and act, yet need no brain. Mock. Stupid. Weak.
Is that cracking the glass
From a
then?
single part, my whole regrows.
Wormwood Studios, welcome. Thank you so much. I am enjoying the game.
Unclean. Destroy. Ugly.
You're trying to make this starfish real super upset. But not upset enough, I guess.
I slip my gut. Weakness. Revulsion. Embarrassment. Each limb ends in an... Colors? Happy.
Darn. I thought blind was going to be a bad one.
Beneath the summer. Aftermath. Barren. Extinct.
It might be that I have to get all however many wrong in one set.
Yet mock. Stupid. Weak.
haven't managed to do so far. Keep trying.
From a single part, my whole regrows.
Angel, thank you for gifting a sub to Wormwood Studios. Much appreciated. Enjoy the celebratory confetti cannon.
Jason!
Resilience is right. I think mold was wrong.
Unclean! Destroy!
Jason!
Ugly! I am and
This one I know.
not
It's me, idiot.
stupid! Weak! Beneath the summer sun.
Angel of Iron, thank you for keeping the peace and also gifting us up to dual names. Much appreciated. We know Ash is wrong, right?
Aftermath! Barren! Extinct! The sea itself
Interesting
serves
perspective.
for my blood.
We find blind Let's Plays excruciating, but streams delightful. It often ends up being a similar sort of experience, but perhaps it's the ability to interact and chat and nudge people in the right direction, or just see people interact and not have someone just sitting here umming and awing, which, to be honest, was me probably an hour ago. But I haven't gotten stuck terribly much in this game, which I think is generally a good sign. I think for like a good adventure game, I want to be stuck a few times, but like I generally want to have a good sense of what I'm doing. Was salt a bad one? Crap, now I can't remember. There is an in-game hint system, I know. I've had to use it once. I didn't realize I would get meat if I told the old man they were done. Yeah, little narwhals for everyone. Chat's just full of them. Love it. Love to see them. I know Harmony's a good one. I think I tried salt, and I don't remember if that was bad. I think it was.
Sweat, tears, savor.
Maybe I need worse answers.
There's something just looking at it.
Or maybe I've done enough damage that I could just
No
stab
need to
it.
cut that.
But I could cut it if I knew the mermaid's name. Definitely got stuck a couple times in Unavowed at least. I can't remember any specifics though either, Zacula. I don't know. We just... Let's go hear what the payphone has to say, if it's explicitly helpful about the starfish.
Gather more spirits. You haven't harvested the skulls in the shooting gallery.
Fair enough, I hadn't considered that being something I should do. I mean, they're skulls, but I didn't really think of them as being dead. Which is weird, because I definitely thought of the bird at the Hall of Mysteries as being dead. Probably on me. Well, that's gonna bring me a good bit of the way towards solving that puzzle, huh? How did it bring me to, like... Okay. That's good, I got my booze. That's fine. I got my spirits. So now I should just need one, right? Or wait, no, yeah, I did get one from 8-3, right? I mean, it's not the hint I was looking for.
What are you waiting for? You have spirits enough to light the Valkyrie's lamps.
Oh, I thought I needed one more. Okay, well, I guess I'll come back to that starfish problem later. Don't mind me, I'm just gonna shove this torch in the car and hope it works now. I think I needed 6. So I gotta do this one by one. to say, this is like a really stupid thing. There's some part of me that really appreciates the fact that you can use knife on self in this game.
It worked.
It's really kind of gruesome, but like it fits the tone of the game and its overlap with the adventure game. Strangeland is a game that returns a lot of answers to whatever you may try in it. The more you get stuck, the easier it is to understand that logic. Huh. A tragedy, that. A little bit longer. Let's see what happens. He did sort of destroy the roller coaster track, though, didn't he? Like, aren't I going to die? That sounded like a death noise, but we're still watching it happen. Bye, thank you, see you later. Where's my cell phone? Can I call it as an Uber in the future? The only thing I have that might be remotely useful here is the grappling hook. Oh, it's just raining now. Maybe we'll get good old-fashioned Scraw back in here.
It doesn't matter how long it grows. I'm never going to be able to get the grapple to the other side.
I think the roller coaster was up to code. It's just like making any roller coaster in Roller Coaster Tycoon, right?
It's too far to jump. Throwing stones isn't gonna help.
You don't know. I have infinite stones. If I throw enough of them, maybe it will create like a makeshift stone bridge that I can cross or something. Thank you to Wormwood Studios and Dual Names in chat for creating this game that it really has been a masterpiece so far. I really wouldn't just say that. I'm very critical of games I play. Ask the people in chat here. I hate everything, and I love this game. It's very good. That being said, I'm too stupid to advance right now. If I hold my flask up, I'll get some rainwater.
There's a faster...
Wait, is that where I am? If I don't have the solution to the puzzle, I should use knife on self? Is that where I am right now? I think maybe it is.
I'm not holy enough for self-immolation. I can't reach them.
I like that he's like, I totally want to burn the rest of the tracks, I just can't get there.
I'm not hungry.
Okay. I know how to solve this puzzle.
The right way out. It's not that
Do I
fault. Well,
I guess I'm gonna jump. Where does the jump take me from here? Oh, it's just also... Wait, why is there a right way to die now? There's really been a right way to die previously, right? I also appreciate rainy games, but I live in Southern California where there's no...
Look again. And I get to say, I don't want to tell you a joke. A lot easier than coming up with no material.
I like masking the loop, it's good. You always say to the players to try to identify your goals. That helps identify your means to the goals. I agree with that. I think that... I mean, the crossing the gap is... essentially a new discovery. I know that the game had previously told me I needed, like, fire and wings and something, I think? I think that was the riddle that Murmur told me before he died. Third thing might have just been Valkyrie, which is clearly just, like, the roller coaster car. I also need to find some way to get the mermaid's name because I want a really sharp knife. And also the mermaid's, like, my favorite character. Very upset.
it seems to be ignoring me.
I like that this game is logical in a really, like, surreal way.
Kisses.
You have anything to say to me now?
I have nothing.
Yeah, I don't think so. I still have the torch. Which can probably be of use somewhere, but probably not immediately. It's so good. Well, here's the thing. I understand. Here's where I'm at on the wing scenario, right? I know that if I throw Rocket Bird at Bird Body, then he says, "Ah, my wings," and then FF, whatever his name is like, "Ah, let me write that down." And then I try to take the paper, and he's like, "Blind people can't write the letter G, idiot."
It's illegible.
So, if I use knife on old man, can I just take his quill?
I'm not going to.
Eh.
An empty bird bath.
Seems like a real bad crossroad. Real nasty traffic. Use knife on old man. Oh, Zacula, you must not have been here back in the old Siberia 3 days. They made the mistake of giving us a knife super early in the game and making all of the characters really unlikable. I'm pretty sure I tried using knife on every single character in that game.
Golden wings.
I mean...
Just steam. It's empty. It's empty.
The name of the thing? I can't, like, tear part of the label off and use it as a G or something, can I?
No need to cut that.
Whatever I
Been
please.
there.
I'm the protagonist with a knife.
No need to.
Is that a dead rat? Yeah. It was filled with my infinite bus change. The empty bottle is empty, but it has a label. The label has the letter G. It's a solution. I'm very creative. Always think what Batman would do. It's true that Batman probably wouldn't use knife on old man. I'll give you that. I would, though. I was subjected to Siberia 3, and now I always try to use knife on people. What item would Batman use? A batarang or some, broken roller coaster bat repellent spray? Yeah, Batman would just use fists on old man.
Toenails.
I mean, I have grappling hook, but I don't know what grappling hook does for me right now, or I would have done it, because I love grappling hook.
Abstraction.
He said I couldn't lasso the bird, and it said I couldn't reach the faraway tent.
It's too far up.
And when I tried using it at the end of the roller coaster, he said something to the effect of, "It doesn't matter how long it gets, it'll never reach," or something like that. Suppose we haven't tried to make a controlled descent into the well, huh? It might be more effective that way. I don't think...
The grapple's hooked onto something down there.
I don't feel like that's exactly how I would apply that, but I accept your terms. It's grub.
It's like something's trying to get out.
Is it the name of the mermaid? Is this not what you were expecting, Cotillion? This is pretty much exactly what I thought would be down here.
The knife isn't strong enough to break through the shell.
Pretty much figured that.
It's like It's like...
Do we need the mermaid's name? Will you accept my infinite bus fare?
Nothing to spend them on.
Say hi to Grub.
It's like...
He won't talk to me.
It's like...
It's just like all the people I know in real life. Grub like meat? I doubt it, but I do have some meat I have no other purpose for.
I'm pretty sure it prefers roots.
Wait a minute. I think I know where to get roots. It's unclear if the game will let me get them now, but roots are really hard to see before. That's why I noticed them. I know that logic doesn't make any sense, but
I've
it's
got
true.
nothing against that. These roots are...
Like, just take the roots, though. Food?
Golden wings.
I tried to pay the grub, Neko. I can't even ask it if it knows the mermaid's name.
It's not a plasma torch.
But I don't know where to find the mermaid's name. I agree that sharp knife would be good. Operator, do you know the mermaid's name?
The one who knows
It's
the
Ariel.
mermaid's name is hiding below you.
Well, that's not helpful because I need to know the name in order to... Okay.
It's like some...
Can we talk?
I don't need the target practice.
You like rat?
I'm pretty sure...
Rat sounds kind of like root if you say it wrong.
That's...
I tried using vial on cracked glass. No, I don't think I have done that. It didn't seem to obviously be leaking, but that's worth a try.
That's...
Is there a hot spot for the crack? No, right? And if there's a thing to fill the vial with, I don't know what it is. It might be starfish goo, but I haven't figured out how to make it either like me or hate me enough to spit on me. It's not clear what starfish are into. They might only do that to people they really like.
Martha's Syria known.
You know, starfish goo.
There are few who move with my symmetry.
Haven't heard this
ring
one.
With neither right nor left.
The tiger with a Y?
Fearful, dread, predator.
We definitely made it crack that glass, though. That glass, though.
Brain. Mock. Stupid. Weak.
There's definitely some answers it hates way more than others.
Sun we throng and flick.
I don't think I've tried snow. Does it hate snow?
Clean joy.
No, it gets high on snow.
When the great sickness strikes.
Cycle is good. I don't think I've tried the others, have I?
Vanish. Transmute. Escape.
It's a little weird to me that whether I do a good job or bad job, I just sort of walk away, right?
And fling our spawn to
So Ash is the only one that seems to dislike.
aftermath. Barren. Extinct.
I didn't remember that being a super
I
hate one.
am and act.
Spine, welcome to the
yet
stream.
Need no brain.
So fire was good. Bliss feels like it's probably also good.
Mock.
Yeah, it's a stronger negative reaction than I remember too.
From a single part, my whole regrows.
Remember, if mold was a bad one. Yeah, we're not. We called the operator and it pointed out the fact that the 3 skulls died for our sins at the shooting gallery, which I hadn't considered. And then we took the roller coaster up to the dead end, and we could not use knife on self, so we took a big old jump, found ourselves back at start. I think mold's the worst one I know of.
Unclean! Destroy! Ugly! There are few who move with my symmetry.
Oh, we changed the color of this text, didn't we? This didn't used to be red. But I don't think I know the bad one here, do I? I guessed tiger last time, didn't I? What result did I get from that? I should remember this, but I don't. This is why I crowdsource remembering things to chat. We used gravity on self. We used brink with down. There was not anger. I'm gonna guess pentagram?
Wicked. Prison.
Alright, I think those were finally all bad answers, which I don't think I'd managed to do before. Hooray, I died! It's more or less what I was trying to do for a little while there, but I couldn't make him angry enough. Which is weird because in real life I have the opposite problem.
That was unpleasant.
That's what I say when I get up every morning, too.
Still going, huh? I'll give you a hint. Don't trust the crow.
I do want to point out, at the start, when I was trying to adjust levels for streaming yesterday, I like, booted up the game and found the instructions and noted that it was like, you know, you can't really get a dead end, so, like, maybe die sometimes. And it was, like, one of the first things I pointed out after booting up the game. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna like this. I keep wanting to go upwards. It's just the wrong direction. Oh, it's the headache room, also known as wherever I am in the afternoon on a random workday. Cartoon acid is best acid. Oh yeah, it's very gross in here. Oh, and he, like, killed himself. That's interesting.
Never know when some acid will come in handy.
I'm always saying that, too. I mean, while I'm here, I might as well do this, right? I don't know why I need another spirit, but I'll take it.
Hate! Hate! Hate!
I really relate to all the characters here. Dead bird, hate starfish, tortured mermaid. It's my favorite room in the game. Okay, so if the bug knows the mermaid's name... Goop. I'm gonna save again, even though it doesn't feel like I actually need to save much at all. Yeah, you know what? Friend question mark seems fine.
It's like...
Enjoy this bath bomb.
The shell seems weaker, and there's something pearlescent peeking through.
Pearlescent isn't a word I hear very often.
Well, it's out.
Hi? Oh.
Shall we?
Okay. Yeah? Yeah. I mean, yeah. Never-ending story. Okay, so what was the purpose of the roller coaster car, then? I wonder, curious. Huh. Fortunately, I think I probably should end the stream here. Probably have to pick up same time next week. I mean, we're gonna call it. Way to get to main menu? I think I've been smart enough to find it. Quit just like quits, right? I think I've clicked on the prizes tab. Oh, they're like achievements. Done surprisingly few and also surprisingly many. I was very confused by Pandora's box, to be honest. Sort that out later, I guess. Guess I quit and leave it, huh? Hello, it's me. How's everybody? Trying to find the quit. No, I was trying to get back to the main menu so I could have some ambient music, but I don't feel like booting it back up again. Thanks everybody for watching. Yeah, I didn't think I could. Just wanted to be sure. This has been a lot of fun. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Thank you very much again to Dual Names and Wormwood for coming out. It's been great having you here. That's very exciting for me. And I really have been enjoying. Like, truly, I'm not kidding. Like, if there's plenty of games that I've played that if like people who worked on it came into chat, I'd be really awkward. I'd be like, oh, that's okay. I kind of have a habit of playing like story-based games that aren't great, and then kind of just like razzing on them. But every now and then I come across something like Strangeland, and I'm like, guys, I've been really excited for this for months. I like literally said like I've been excited for this for months because I know it's been out for a while. But I was saving it to play it in October, and like earlier in the stream, I was like, this is like better than I hoped it would be. I'm very excited about it. So like. I don't really know how I'd react specifically, Zacula, if someone showed up in my chat and I like really did. Like if like the people who made like Black Sad showed up while I was playing that game, I'd just be like, oh, I don't but yes, a hallmark of my streams is that once we've finished playing the game, there's one final order of business, and that is to locate the secret Squirtle. Somewhere in this menagerie of mess I've created on the couch behind me is hidden a secret Squirtle. The only rule of the game is that if you can see a Squirtle, it's not a secret. People in chat know this game and have already tried to locate the Squirtle. In a moment, I will reveal its location by process of elimination, but first I'll allow everyone a chance to guess by enjoying some of this 100% juice apple, distinctly not brand name. Baby Yoda plush. Yeah, I got a couple. I think this is one of the cuter ones. I'll show him off, because I don't know that I've actually done that since I got him. Yeah, I'll be streaming this game same time next week, which is 6 p.m. Pacific is roughly when I start. Usually I do some chatting and griping about how much I hate everything, and then we play the game. Is the Wally new? No, I haven't put him on the couch all that much. He has trouble supporting his head, so he doesn't play nice with the others sometimes. What if the guy... Well, if the guy who made AI the Somnium Files showed up, he'd be the same guy who made the Zero Escape games, and I would just focus on that. I'd be like, those are like some of my favorite games of ever, and I appreciate that you made them, except the third one, which makes me angrier than almost anything that's ever happened. Close the community challenge, because we're definitely going to play spooky games on Halloween. I'm going to get a sense of what everyone's guesses were. Under Hollow Knight, Baby Yoda, Crochet Squirtle, Behind Loaf, Under Hollow. Okay, I'll remember most of those. Let's take a look, shall we? The noises of getting up at discomfort. What if the Siberia 3 guy showed up? Dude, I don't know. Real quick, I'm gonna let you all in on a secret. Family. My original plan for the Halloween stream, and I'm going to tell you this because I'm almost certain I can't manage it, is that in September, Siberia 1 and 2 were free on Steam for like 5 days or something, and I caught it like just before the offer ended. So I have them on Steam. I did enough troubleshooting to get Siberia 1 to run. And my plan was, like, what's scarier than playing Siberia? Because woof. But here's the problem. The game is so janky and old that I can't play it in windowed mode, and as you know, I did a bad job constructing my computer, so it doesn't have 2 HDMI ports and I can't use 2 monitors with it. Which means, until I address that problem or find a new workaround, I can't do that. And what's annoying is, a lot of people have purported a solution that's supposed to make the game run in windowed mode. Doesn't work for me. Tried it exactly as it said. It's like the only thing people suggest to do. Doesn't seem to work for everyone, and it doesn't work for me. But that was my original plan, was that everyone was going to get excited for a spooky game, and I was going to play Siberia, and I figured 50-50 make people really mad and make people laugh at how dumb that is. Have any other ports? I don't think so. It's been so long since I've cared. I think I'd take the other one out, dude. do have something. I don't recognize it though, or at least I don't have something that connects to it. Maybe I'll look into it. But I think I would also need, well, I don't know. Maybe there's an adapter that fixes it. Alright, let's take a look at stuff. I mean, here's... If and when we play Siberia, we'll talk about how significant that game is to the history of adventure games. But it really hasn't aged great, which is kind of marvelous. It's really a fascinating game. Let's play the game, though. People talking about our friend Baby Yoda here. He's hiding classic narwhal friend. But as I mentioned, I haven't really gotten to show off this guy. It's rare that you actually see a smile on a Baby Yoda toy. They make them all look grumpy and frog-like, and I just don't know why. That, a couple guesses, I think, for Behind Loaf, Under Hollow Knight. And if that was your guess, I'm afraid you got Ninja by Donatello, the Ninja Turtle. I'll post a picture in the Discord. People can help out. But if that's the case, if we sort that out, then people need to tell me if that's what they actually want to do for the Halloween stream. Because that might not be what everyone signed up. I guess under Crochet School. Great, there's nothing back there but a giant baguette that's holding up several toys. Now, I feel like I'm missing at least one of the guesses, but for some reason all the thoughts have left my brain. Hollow Knight twice. Under Red Power Ranger. There, that's one I missed. Under Red Power Ranger, also kind of just a giant baguette. I would say that under Pirate Eden, we can hide one cheeky guy back there, and that's our friend Master Yoda. I think I've run for all the guests, so I'm just going to go ahead and jump to revealing that the secret Squirtle was under this conspicuous wall-e the whole time. That was the location of our secret Squirtle. You know, how many consecutive Donatellos has that been for you? Are you still on a run without guessing not Ninja Turtle? Like, not just not finding the Squirtle, but specifically finding it, like, every time? It's really impressive. Like, not in a good way, which is the kind of impressive I'm familiar with. I feel bad is what I'm saying. You got that Grogu plush for your boyfriend for Christmas last year? That's sweet, Zacko. I was out shopping with my mom, and, like, she saw, like, this, like, Baby Yoda, like, this giant Baby Yoda head attached to a blanket thing, and it was super cute, and she's like, I'll buy that for you. And I'm like, I really appreciate that. It's very cute. It's never cold enough to need a blanket here. And then, of course, it's actually been cold every day this week except for today, which is absolutely hilarious. Deco. So rude. Streak was broken by being nothing. Yeah, and I mean, nothing's a better result, right? Anyway, I've been droning on for too long. I'll post that port in chat and we'll see if something can amend that. I remember, my dad is very knowledgeable about these things, and I remember asking him about it when I, like, first constructed the computer. I don't know if I showed him a photo, but I feel like he gave me an answer that sort of implied, like, nothing could ever solve that for you. I'm like, I'm just gonna leave that. I'm just gonna leave that there. But this has been great. I had a lot of fun. Sorry for rambling. I hope you've enjoyed this. I had a ton of fun. The art in this game is great. It's, like, just the right kind of upsetting. I'm super into it. I think it's a short game. I don't know. Like, I would guess that at most it'll probably be one more stream based on what I know, unless we get really stuck. I'm not sure. But do expect to see that next week. Tomorrow night, we're going to start a new spooky game, less overtly upsetting. It is a vaguely, like, Tim Burton-inspired, like, action RPG kind of thing. Looks like it's very story-based and weird and interesting, and I don't know, I'm excited. It's a very different kind of game, but we'll try that tomorrow and see how that one goes. In the meantime, thank you to everybody for watching. Lots of gift subs and things. Everyone's generosity is greatly appreciated, and it's never necessary to do it, but I do thank you very much for doing it. Thank you guys for being here. Thanks for being you, and I hope to see you again soon. VascoDaGamer signing off for some Strangeland, and we'll be back next week. Good night, everybody.